Mic check. Mic check. I feel like that's super loud. Hold on. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, that sounds a lot better to me. Not as loud as it was originally. So good. Good. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? We will give Jurgen a minute to get in here. If he don't show up, we ain't talking no Miami. I'm trying to give him a chance to talk. Let me turn this music off. I'm trying to give him a little chance to talk about his cane. You know, he like the rest of the Miami fans. He don't show up to the off season, as you see. Can't get him on here the entire season. Hit him up today, and he's like, "Sure, I'll come on." You know, so he wants to brag about being off season champs probably again. So we'll get him on here shortly. But man, there's a lot of stuff going on in college ball right now, and it's a big day for the Seminoles. We're gonna definitely talk about that. As you see, though, I got a few topics I gotta hit on, man. Obviously, Florida State sues the ACC. I gotta talk about Deion, man. I got to talk about Deion and this recruiting strategy and just the hypocrisy that I see with it. So we're gonna touch on that. That might hurt some feelings, but you know me, I don't really care because none of it's gonna be a lie. It's all gonna be the truth. And I mean, come on now. It's Friday night on 863 Seminole TV, so y'all already know. It's going to be all Seminoles, of course. Transfer portal, I wish it was heating up. It doesn't seem to be. I am trying to understand where is all of these transfer portal announcements. Granted, this is the first day after the early signing day, so we'll give it some patience here. But geez, can we get a quarterback name so we can get this offseason started? Is it Cam Ward? Is it DJ? Quite frankly, at this point, I'm not sure I care. If I'm honest with you, I'm not sure I give a damn who the quarterback is at this point. Y'all already know who I want, but at this point, man, get me a guy. Get me a guy so we can get the offseason started. We know it's going to be one of the two. Just give me a guy. There is a bowl game on, as a matter of fact. Adrian, grab me that, please. See if we can get this bowl game up on the TV. I think UCF's playing. Thank you, sir. Oh, I gotta plug the cord in. Give me a second, folks. I'll be right back. All right, let's do it. That bald head sucker showed up. Let's get him in here.
Yo, you can hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, sir.
Let's go, man.
You're a little blurry on the camera, but we hear you.
Man, we broke over here, man.
So they say. So they say. How you been, man?
Busy, bro. Just keep on making these kids and,
People ain't seen you all season, man. They've been asking about you.
well, I miss them, bro.
Yeah. They're about to show you a lot of love tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, if that's the word for it, you know. I will not watch any bowl games. Y'all boys on strike, huh?
I'm watching bowl games. Zoe might
Shout
not be, but I'm watching a bowl game.
Can we can we shout out USF? I brought that up today.
So I want you let's shout them out, but then I want to hold that conversation for a second because I know where that leads.
Oh Lord.
I know where that leads, and I definitely want to hop onto that conversation. But yeah, man, good. That's a good coaching job going on down there.
I just big picture with that league, the AAC. I always feel like it's about whoever has the best offense and the best quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And the type of offense that he runs always works in a league like that because the defenses are never really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, so you get all that space out there. You're gonna score. They lost to FAU by like 50 and found a way to win 7 games. I think that's amazing. You know. Um, so shout out to them. Big shout out to them, man.
so let's get this out the way.
There you go.
Your Canes, no, your Canes, man, they closed. They closed well. How you feel about it? How you feel about the class as a whole? Are you guys a big time defensive line class? And I mean, the excuses are gonna start running out there for no more Manny Diaz excuses. I would say going forward.
For sure. I
Not
mean,
sa-
but
not saying you give them, but
yeah.
that's social media.
Well, Adrian. Even with when we would talk and we would talk about Manny in particular, my big thing was that Manny's supposed to be the defensive guy, right? And as a defensive guy, at some point, you should be reeling in players at a high caliber that fit what you do well. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Manny really ever got steam with that. In this case with Mario, last year he already proved he could do that, right? He got his
Hmm.
guys. He got an elite O line class. Um, the fact that we picked up the way we did at the end was crazy to me because
Hmm.
uh, you'd have to be an idiot to not be sitting here in August like, yeah, bro, this might be a long one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it turned out to be what is it, number
You're
three or
four.
four? Four?
I think you're. I think somebody was it Oregon that jumped in. Somebody jumped in there today. Might have been
Hmm.
Oregon.
Hmm.
Landing's been doing a pretty good job on trail too.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's what when you buy Mario Cristobal, that's what you were supposed to buy, right? So now you have to ask yourself when, will, and how that translates on Saturdays. Your clock is now ticking, Mario Cristobal. You get what I'm saying?
does your quarterback recruiting concern you at all?
Um, I'm gonna say no because I honestly like Emery. Just being honest.
Okay.
I think if internally we were concerned about Emery, we would have tried to push harder for a Dante Moore or the kid that just decommitted from USC. I forget his name, Malachi Nelson. I
But
think who
Emery's
that
not
is.
gonna start next year.
No, but that's what I'm saying is if we had no faith in that kid, meaning that he was good enough to play, then you would have gone and went after one of these kids that have 3 or 4 years of eligibility. You get what I'm saying? Instead of putting all of your, seems like right now all of our eggs are in either the Cam Ward or the KJ Jefferson basket. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
the 1 year guys. So um, I'm going to say I'm not concerned because clearly they are concerned. And again, I kind of like Emery. I think I told you he looks like a baby deer. Like he just looks
But
awkward. You know what I
you
mean?
gotta admit the room is small.
It
I
is.
mean,
It's going to be
I'm
that
guessing.
way. Yeah.
I'm guessing Ja'Cory Brown is something like with that. Like I don't know how he's not the favorite next year. Maybe he is. Maybe they're keeping him on ice. I don't know what's going on with that. But
Hmm.
you bring in this Judd kid.
Hmm. You bring in Judd. I wouldn't say that there's no way.
What's his name? Judd. Did he free?
Yeah, Judd Anderson. Um, yeah, did I freeze? Am I good?
You're good now. I hear you now.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay, my bad, bro.
Oh, you good?
Living out here in the sticks. But you got Judd. You'll have Emery. If Jakari's really gone, then yeah, it shrinks again, and you have to go into the portal to get a quarterback, right? Um, like I said, I'm not concerned in the sense that we didn't bring in a big name this cycle. Would I be concerned about the number? Probably. When it all
Okay.
shakes out, if we only have 3 kids, I'd be a little bit worried about that. You know what I mean? But other than that, man, I think we're solid right now. To be honest with
Okay. Okay. So solid recruiting class, definitely. Mario closes strong again. But like you said, that's what you hired him for. Uh,
you, it'd be
so a few more.
stupid.
Few. Oh, go
My,
ahead.
my fault, but it'd be stupid if we were here talking about Mario Cristobal with a 15 class in the country. We'd be like them dudes in Gainesville right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that would
I
be
can.
because that what's crazy about Gainesville is you fired a superior coach. There's no way he's not a superior coach.
Right,
And
X's and O's guys. Absolutely, you fired an X's and O's guys for a guy that's supposed to be a top whatever recruiter. Absolutely, I already know where you're going.
and so imagine if we did that, if we got rid of a
And
pretty good defensive mind,
he
you
got
know,
holed out on National Signing Day. Like I think he got
big
lucky
time.
to keep. I think he got lucky to keep LJ McCray. I don't know what the conversation happened there. I think he got lucky to keep him.
Hmm.
DJ Lagway, I don't think he ever wavered.
Hmm.
I kind of figured Lagway would sign with Florida because you just didn't hear any buzz about any other school involved in that.
Well, I
Um,
think Clemson looking the way they did, basically told Lagway, well, what's the point? Because he had interest in Clemson. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that was
So
the only other school that had any real interest.
yeah.
I know Lincoln Riley tried to make a late push, but I don't really think that garnered any, you know, real steam.
How do you feel? Because we talked about that briefly, but I thought Lincoln Riley would come to USC and be an immediate top 10 recruiter. Like without a doubt in my mind, I thought they'd be finishing anywhere between 4 and 9 nationally every year. I think they're at 18 right now or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, that's probably one of the more shocking, untalked about storylines in college football. Just me personally.
His
Um,
second year just, I don't know what happened. It just fell apart.
that's what I'm trying to. I'm like, bro, this is Link. Like he should have every blue chip offensive guy on the West Coast should be playing for him. You know what I mean? Like he should have first come first served all of that. I don't know, man. That's a really odd one to me. If we talk about stuff on the trail, bro, real odd one, real odd one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like he just fell off in the second year after he did have a big time recruiting year in year one. Obviously, he had the Heisman Trophy winner, and they were a game away from the playoff.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened with that. I,
Hmm.
I think I told you. I don't remember. I know we kind of talked about it. I think I said something to the like something feels off. Like if they announced that Riley was trying to like go coach the Atlanta Falcons or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like that wouldn't that wouldn't shock me. Like
yeah.
something just feels off in LA right now over there.
So you think you got the Chicago Bears sitting there high, right?
Right.
Or whoever has number one, and it's like, hey, Lincoln, go ahead, take this job, keep on coaching your quarterback, and bye bye USC. Like that's the kind of thing you feel is going to happen.
it wouldn't shock me. It's like my point. Like
I
if
got you.
like if you told me the reason why recruiting fell off at the end, his 5-star quarterbacks hitting the portal,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
they couldn't win a game by the end of the season, like is
Hmm.
because he had one foot out the door and was negotiating this whole time, it would make perfect sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. That's gonna be a good one because it doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't see
the Chargers job is probably like right there for the taking.
they. Somebody said they think that Pittsburgh could legitimately get rid of Mike Tomlin, which I think is crazy. But they
Me too.
said if you get rid of Mike Tomlin, why wouldn't he go to LA? That would be great for him. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I know that's way off the college football talk, but I heard that on the stream last night for the Rams Saints game. And I was like, damn, that wouldn't be bad if you give Mike Tomlin all of them weapons on defense. Don't worry about the salary cap; he'll figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. So y'all hit the like button. As you know, man, this is the show where we gonna jump around on a bunch of different topics. So
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
gonna have to bear with it. Um,
yeah. But go
okay,
back, bro.
let's.
We was
Uh,
talking about the trail, right?
yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about your class. I'm giving you a chance to talk about your class before I don't give a damn about it. But I want to know favorite player in the class, like who you're most excited to see. Is there an instant impact guy you're excited to see? Come on, there's some
Um,
Miami fans in here. I know they want to hear your opinion. Florida State fans are probably making a sandwich and whatever, using the bathroom right now, but that's okay.
yeah. If you're taking this shit and listening to me, your life is terrible. Um, but I would say I'm a defensive tackle guy. Artavius Jones, Justin Scott. I think that's about as good as a 1-2 you're gonna get. Um, I love the fact that the linebacker room is transforming. Not a lot of 5'11", 6-footers in there anymore. Um, it's honestly, I think it's all about them 2D tackles, man. Like if I was to really look 2 years from now and say, what's the one thing that made this team what it is, it'll probably be those two guys right there. They got NFL bodies, man. NFL athleticism, for
Mhm.
sure. I think all of the edge guys are tweeners, and I obviously you got Jason Taylor coaching them, so that's who he was. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
all of the kids are, they need a year of weights plus a year of development before they touch the field. So I don't think we'll see them for a while. But I think those two D tackles get burned right away. And I think
Well, yeah,
obviously,
you're losing Leonard Taylor, right?
yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, probably right.
So yeah, they got to get some kind of burn, both of them. And then um, only reason I like the linebacker pulling Hayes is because he's not at Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Probably my favorite part of signing day was pulling him out of Florida. To be honest with you, I think sensitive subject or not, Blount is just too young. I don't think we've ever seen a 16-year-old.
It's not a sensitive subject for me. I mean,
Okay.
I was saying the same thing when we initially flipped him.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think I
did.
said it to you, but I was saying it on here. Like, I mean, he's 16, so I don't know how much you really expect from him. Now
Yeah,
he's a big 16-year-old. He's a
sure.
6'3", 250 or something like that. But
Hmm. Hmm.
he's 16. He'll be
Yeah.
17 by the time he takes a snap. Like,
Uh huh. Uh
it's
huh.
gonna be interesting, right? To see. I
Yeah.
don't great upside, right? Great talent. I don't know if you
Hmm.
have instant, immediate like expectations from him. Maybe you
Yeah.
do.
No.
Maybe.
No. If
I think if a Miami fan is expecting like Ruben Bain again, I think they're kidding themselves.
you know what's funny, Adrian, is that we had the same kind of talk a couple years ago when we were comparing Hunter to McLean, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody said, well, Hunter's the number one DB and McLean's the number one DB. So that's got to mean that McLean is Travis Hunter. He's not. No
No.
way. No way. So same thing here. Just because he went to Miami Central and he's a 5-star kid doesn't mean he's Ruben Bain. Even if he was 18, maybe if he was 18-year-old, he might be Ruben Bain, but he's not that right
Right.
now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And I want to say Ruben didn't break out till his junior year anyway, where he had like 29 sacks or something like that. Um, but he gets to come on campus early and develop, and kudos to him for that. But again, I'm excited about the D tackles. Artavius Jones, I mean, just looks like a freaking like a rock. You know what I mean? Like he's all caught up, he's already ready to go. He's got a college body. It's going to be interesting to see, man. Interesting to see. But I like, of course, the receiver. The receiver pool was crazy. Um,
Yeah, I actually thought that was your best. I mean, I know the D line, but I actually thought your receiver class was the best position group y'all signed. Actually,
yeah,
I
I
know
think.
everybody hyped up the D line, and I get it. But like you said, there's a lot of projects on that D line, high upside guys, but not the guys that you're going to get instant. Speaking mainly of the edge guys, I
Yeah,
think all your receivers might have a chance. If you get a guy look, if Miami can get Cam Ward, then I think that you know
yeah.
that's interesting. You can get Cam Ward. Freshman receivers usually struggle to produce early, but it'd be interesting to see what they do.
If we could just to give you a shout out, you were the first person to bring Cam Ward to my attention. When was this? In September, maybe?
Well, I'm about to say, I think I was watching some late night Pac-12 ball for
Yeah,
just like it was like nothing else on. Yeah, and I
it
was like,
was
bro,
him
do
versus.
you know? I forget who it was, but I was like, bro, do you know who Cam Ward is?
Yeah,
This guy, spin it.
it was the Oregon State game, I think it was. Or
I don't
something
remember
like
what
that.
game it was.
Bro, I just remember being here talking about him, and I went and watched maybe 3-4 minutes of him play, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's one of them. He's absolutely one of them. He just got stuck in that I'm at the worst school talent wise in the Pac-12 that's not Cal or Stanford,
That's what I'm
and
trying to tell people.
you know
Like, who is he playing? Name somebody he played with.
you can't, bro. You really
So
can't.
so this is a great question for you. So they've made a big stink about Cam Ward. He has now the number is high. The 30 fumbles in like 2 years. That is a very high number.
Sure.
That is a very alarming number. What do you
Yeah.
take from that?
Um, what are fumbles a product of, right? Um, I think that's what we have to ask ourselves is when you go pull the tape on a kid like that. Adrian, they were saying earlier this season they said Lamar Jackson had a fumbling issue. He had a turnover issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens are sitting at the number one seed in the league, right? Um, so I guess my point is, if he's fumbling, why is he fumbling? Is it because he's careless? Is it because he's trying to do too much? Does he
That's what I
really
kind
have?
of.
You know what I mean? We talked about that with Jameis Winston in Tampa, right? It was very clear at a certain point that Jameis is like, look, we're going to lose if I don't throw this football. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he was going to throw it. It didn't matter. I'm already down 18. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go out
Yeah,
there and throw the pill anyway. So if that's the reason why, then you say, okay, well, I could get him in, I could coach him, and kind of keep him. You get what I'm saying? Um,
that's what I attributed it to when I was talking to the Florida State fans about him, and
mhm,
everybody started talking about because Florida State fans right now they're debating, they're trying to hype up DJ, and I'm like, okay, like DJ kind of is what we see at this point, but interesting.
mhm,
If Florida State lands him, I think you can utilize him in a certain effective way.
mhm, mhm.
But in my opinion, Cam Ward, man, you ask a guy to, if he doesn't make a play doesn't get made. So yes, he's trying to win.
Yeah,
So those
yeah,
things happen. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
At least that's the way I look at it from my standpoint.
Well, and he's doing it at what's it called? Washington State and University of the Incarnate Word. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This isn't. He's not at Alabama choking up the football. You know what I mean? Or even, and this isn't to talk bad about the kid, but look at Tyler Van Dyke. He wasn't pressured at all last year, and he was just like, "Hey, let me get this away." You know what I mean? That's not the situation that Cam Ward was in. So I agree with you totally, bro. Absolutely agree with you totally. But that would be a good get if we can get him. I think the NFL draft is a little bit too stacked for him. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think he would benefit because this year, this year's class is stacked. Where next year, it's probably him and Edwards at top.
hmm hmm Well,
So
yeah,
who else? Who else for next year that maybe I'm not even thinking of right now?
it would be Ewers. Hmm. I'm really trying to think because all these guys graduate, right? Bo Nix is gone.
Gone.
Penix
Penix
is gone.
gone.
Um, Bo Nix, Penix. Who else is gone, man?
Of course,
Obviously
May's gone.
May
Caleb's
Williams.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shedeur. I forgot about Shedeur. Yeah, Shedeur be in that mix for sure.
Shedeur
If
should
his
be in that mix. Yeah,
if his back's if his back's okay.
and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know, bro. Yeah, he's got to be one of the top five guys, at least top five. Because McCord being gone from Ohio State, that throws it out.
Unless
Um,
you think like Carson Beck and Milrow like shoot up some draft boards.
I think Milrow's got the goods though. I think
Okay.
Milrow. Who does he remind me of? It's gonna sound weird, but when he throws it, he looks like McNabb to me. You know what I mean? Um,
McNabb is an
just
interesting one.
just a lot of. I don't even know the word, but when McNabb threw the ball, it was going. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know if that would be my comp, meaning that's who he's going to be long term. But
Right.
I think Milrow, Ewers, yeah. I mean, you're going to have to throw Cam Ward in the top three or four guys. It's probably best that he comes back. Yeah.
That's probably your class next year. Cam Ward, Ewers, Milrow,
hmm
Beck. Who
hmm
did I forget? Somebody else. I forget. Who do we else? We said someone else.
I think Beck's overrated. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Um,
but Georgia's gonna win games, and Beck's gonna. So he's gonna be in the conversation. The same way I think like Bo Nix is not that good, but Bo Nix is gonna be in the conversation because
yeah,
they're gonna win games and he's gonna put up numbers. So see,
absolutely.
I don't think DJ's in that mix, but who knows,
No.
man? Come to Florida State and have a
Yeah,
good year. We'll see. You see what happens, but I don't.
for sure. Give me 1 second, bro. Hold on. Hold
Yep,
on.
I got you. Riley. Who? Milrow garbage. Riley. Who are we talking about? Not Caleb. Caleb Williams ain't staying. I'm sorry, Terrell. If you think that, Riley Leonard. Okay,
My
Jerg's back.
bad. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I saw my babies run out the front door. I said, "What the hell?"
Outside? Oh, Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's an NFL guy. I don't think
Me
so.
neither.
No. 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 I
But
don't think he's an NFL guy.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, no media hype. They'll hype him up.
When's the last time Notre Dame had a QB? Was it Kaiser, Deshaun Kaiser?
Like their own guy. Yeah,
Yeah, wasn't it Deshaun Kaiser's like the last drafted Notre Dame quarterback? Well, high. I mean,
yeah. I think you're right. I
um,
think you're right.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know if Notre
Kaiser.
Dame's gonna carry you anymore. Um, but yeah, man. I don't know, man. It was good watching it all finish out, and like I told you in the chat, what we can both agree on. When Florida's suffering, bro, it's a beautiful thing to watch from the outside, dog. Because that class fell apart within about I don't know an hour on on Wednesday. Um, between Tuesday night and Wednesday at about 1 o'clock, man, that whole thing fell apart, my boy. It was good to watch. Good to watch.
Okay, so I got a question.
Uh huh.
I'm not gonna tell you what's at the end of each road, but I'm gonna ask you. You want to go left or right?
Let's go right.
Okay, so we're gonna go right. Um, what's your? That means we're about to talk some Florida State suing the ACC and what this means for the conference.
Okay.
So that means the last topic will be Deion.
Cool.
Um,
Hmm.
what's your thoughts on that? Like, I see a lot of
Um,
trolling, and I get it, man. Like the jokes are the jokes, but I think uh, let me say this: Florida State didn't just do this on a whim, and this doesn't have anything to do with the. First of all, they were talking about this well before they got the snub.
mhm,
Now I think, do I think the playoff committee like just pushed the button even further? Sure, but
mhm.
I don't know how much you're following it or what details you know, but just what are your thoughts on Florida State, and do you support their stance? Do you think it's a mistake? Like, what should Miami be lock in step with Florida State, or what's your take on all of that?
I think Miami, Clemson, UNC are internally the biggest cheerleaders for Florida State right now because whatever happens at this lawsuit sets precedent for those three programs in particular to exit, right? Um, Now, I think the lawsuit has to happen. I'm not like a lawyer, obviously, but what basically Florida State's claiming is by adding the teams that they added, all they did was continue to dilute the pot, right? And by diluting the pot without bringing any value to the existing members, you're basically in violation of our contract and everything that we're supposed to be doing to help us out as a conference.
FSU has a few claims. To summarize it, the major claim here, from what I gathered from this, is the ACC has not done their job to protect the integrity of the conference.
Right,
Uh,
right,
they don't feel like the ACC has made the conference competitive,
right,
and I do think that that ruling a couple weeks ago does further that argument, but also monetarily wise, they money doesn't even stack up compared to the other conferences, right? So
right, right.
that's
They
I
diluted.
think that is the main fundamental argument. Like everything, there's a bunch of stuff, but in a nutshell, is that the ACC has not done their job to make us a competitive conference. I believe that is the ultimate
Yeah,
like argument.
no, and I think that's a fair statement. You ended up taking the two teams in the Pac-12, well, two to four teams in the Pac-12 that nobody wanted, right?
Yeah,
In Cal and Stanford, it doesn't make any sense from a viewership or financial standpoint. Just doesn't.
no, no
You
sense.
you took SMU, um, which I was talking about with Yader about this today. SMU is like a worse version of Miami when it comes to football and its attentiveness. I'm being serious, like because you're smushed in SMU, you're smushed in between Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, and TCU, right? And if you know about well, you've kind of been up here. SMU is a school for all the uppity rich kids, and it's never been a school that the city really, you know what I'm saying, wraps its hand around. You know what I mean? So I guess the point is you added another school where it's like, oh, they got all this money, but who's coming to an SMU game? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even
I
you know, so I think what Florida State's doing is valid, and I told y'all I appreciate the fact that y'all are kind of doing all that legwork because it's
the
gonna
dirty
lead.
work.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said we should be the ones like, hey, y'all need some water, like you know what I'm saying? I got some Gatorade for y'all boys. You feel me? Because whatever happens in that as a result of that will dictate what happens to our school, you know, for the next 15,
Yeah,
20
I think,
years.
and
You
again,
know?
I get it, man. Social media, nothing's taken serious on social media. But if we could have a
Yeah.
serious conversation for a second, like I don't understand why any fan of any of these ACC schools, especially your big ones, are like angry or upset or rooting against what's going on right now.
No,
Like, come
no.
on,
You
man.
you should look, and I'd hate to say when facts aren't on my side, but the reality is that there was no ACC, and this. Now I'm gonna get crucified from Miami fans for saying this, but on paper there was no ACC football competing at a high level before y'all walked into it, and you guys have essentially said, "Hey, Florida State, even though you've been our meal ticket for football for 45 years, we're not going to help you out at all." right? Like at least the Big 12 cut that deal with Texas and in Oklahoma to get them more bread, and Texas got Longhorn Network. You remember that?
They
They got
allowed
all
so
this stuff.
they allowed Texas to not. They allowed Texas essentially to still be able to. The Big 12 would still give Texas their cut in the revenue,
Mhm.
but Texas didn't have to share any of their revenue with the Longhorn Network. So
That's right.
that's a sweet ass deal for the Longhorns.
And they made bread. They made a ton of bread
Yeah,
off.
they made a
And, and,
bunch of money.
and that's what I'm saying, bro. So it's like at least you can see where these other conferences were just like, yo, we're not dumb, you know. But ACC's probably sitting here like, well, Florida State doesn't make this conference. In football, yes, right. Nobody's watching college basketball anymore, dog. Like, if that's what's gonna carry you, let that carry you. You can keep, and even so, Duke and all of them, like, they seem to be fluttering. You know what I mean? You should probably shut up and make these big schools in the conference happy for football, and clearly you're not doing that.
And the ACC is like the only conference that did that,
Uh huh.
didn't follow that model, and
Right.
so
It's
here
simple
we
math.
are.
Yep. It's simple math. It's very very simple math, and it's going to cost them. But I saw something saying that Maryland's exit in 2012 that went for
Like
what
$30
was it?
million, bro.
Yeah. So it's like, hold on a second.
That's one of
What
the
was?
arguments I believe that Florida State's using too. Like, there's no
Yeah.
consistency with the grant of rights. I think that's going to be one of their arguments. Again, I'm not a lawyer. If you're on here expecting like some in-depth breakdown of this stuff, bro, you're not going to get it here.
No.
I'm
No.
following it, but I'm not. I'm not reading over this stuff, and bro, none of that.
Yeah.
But just from the
It's
stuff
valid.
I've like, right, yeah,
Yeah. No. At the end of the day, it's valid. You have points to argue, and you guys are going to lay the framework for what I think is going to be
so
kind
here,
of, I want to say, the abolishment of the ACC, but the ACC is gonna, it's done.
yeah, yeah. I was just about to say, here's the deal: win or lose this lawsuit, it's done because you can't keep Florida State in the conference after this.
Hmm.
ACC has also sued Florida State, so this is a war of attrition. This is going to be a
Right,
back and forth.
right,
Um, there's no, and the reason I had highlighted that comment earlier because there's no saving the ACC at this point.
right.
Like Notre Dame's not saving the ACC. Okay, Florida State's drawing a line in the sand, and what you're really probably bargaining for right now is just how much is the settlement going to be.
And you know what, bro?
That's really what it is. How much is the settlement going to be? But Florida State's they're out. It's just a matter of how long this takes and what's the overall cost going to be. You're
The
not you're not
AC,
you can't keep
Adrian,
FSU in the conference.
I think the only way, in retrospect, for the ACC to have saved this is, one second, baby, is before realignment occurred. You get find a way to get Notre Dame in 100%, and because you get in Notre Dame, hey, USC, come with your rival, right? And then hey, whatever, you see what I'm saying? I think it would have taken some major, like you would have had
Yeah,
to take that whole LA
too little, too
market.
late now. Yeah, but too little,
Yeah,
too late now.
yeah. I'm just saying, like in retrospective, 4 years ago, you got, because they took that shit deal with Notre Dame where it was like, look, you could be a part of our basketball, but
Bro,
just
they
kind of be
basically
a football school, you
the
know?
ACC basically gave Notre Dame the Texas deal the Big 12 gave them.
Yeah, yeah. To play
Notre, Notre
basketball.
Dame Notre Dame gets all the benefit of being in this conference, but they don't have to break any bread. Like it's
Very true.
the ACC didn't have any foresight in this realignment. While the SEC and the Big Ten were plotting moves, the ACC stood idly by, and here we are.
Hey,
So I mean,
even the Big 12, credit to the Big 12, they had a
right?
plan.
Big Big 12, they knew Texas and Oklahoma was going to be out, and like you said, they had a plan, and they still exist. The Pac-12 has died, which
Hmm.
is still kind of crazy to think about. That the Pac-12 is
Hmm.
like gone. That's actually kind of crazy.
Hmm. It became, and this is why I've said from jump, I've been saying this. To me, it's always been FSU, Miami, probably a UNC to the Big Ten, because now it's just about the TV markets and which ones they can snatch up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the SEC's in no rush. to grab both the Florida schools. They're very comfortable where they're at, I'm sure.
Here's my little rebuttal to that, because I don't disagree with you necessarily.
Okay.
However, I don't think the SEC wants the Big Ten in their backyard.
Here's the
And
thing, though.
if the Big Ten comes calling for one of these Florida schools, I think the SEC, though they may not want or need, they will just have to play defense in that and say, you know what, the Big Ten's going from coast to coast, and now they're trying to get down south. I don't know if the SEC wants that.
Well, this is the only thing I can say is who's going to have the bigger bag? Because I know the answer. It's going to be the Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to have a bigger bag, and that's going to end the discussion, right? If you hear from Florida State, hey man, this is the Big Ten. We're talking about $60 million in annual revenue versus the SEC, where hey, we're going to give you 48.5. Where are you going? Let's just call it what it is, right? And the SEC is not going to overpay Florida State. It's the SEC. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious of the SEC's thought process, because one thing about what the SEC has done right in their expansion is they really have kept everything regional, which I think helps that conference.
Yes.
I think that helps
more
them.
pride. There's more pride in that conference, and they just happen to control the region with all of the best recruiting grounds, right?
Right.
And it works out very, very well.
I don't think they want the Big Ten lurking around it out there.
I'm telling you, bro, because I'm just looking at the money. I'm really just thinking about the money. I know the Big Ten, if they say, hey, we're going to be on 60% of TVs in Florida every Saturday, they're going to go to whoever their contract is with and say, hey, let's run that number up. Yeah,
that's Fox.
Let's run that number up. Okay? And when they run that number up, they're going to show you a check and say, Florida State, here you go. And, all right. So you mean I'm going to have more viewers, right? If you're Florida State, if you're Miami, I'm going to be playing prime time in LA one week, right? And possibly basically prime time in New York the next week, right? Or prime time at home the next week, and then take my happy ass up to freaking, I don't know, the Detroit market. Yeah, like you see what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be these games are now gonna be damn near like NFL level, like you get what I'm saying? At least in the Big Ten, the SEC, everything is still gonna be deep south for the most part. You're gonna go to Austin, you're gonna go to Norman. But if you're talking about the ACC right now, Florida State, y'all used to come to Miami, y'all would have to go take a trip to Piscataway, New Jersey. like that's crazy to think about. You guys gonna be.
I mean, they already go to Syracuse, New York. So,
but Piscataway's right next to New York. You feel what I'm saying? Like if Syracuse really had the New York market like that, it wouldn't be no discussion about ACC because the bag would be flowing. You get what I'm saying? That's just how it goes, bro. So it's gonna be interesting to see to me, bro. I think it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, the way this plays out, I don't know, but exciting times. I think it's exciting times for this entire conference. Now, if you are a fan of like keeping the conference intact, I'm sorry for you, but yeah, I think this is the first step in the death of the ACC. So
what are your? I mean, obviously you think it's a necessary thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's necessary.
I mean, I was calling this necessary 2 years ago. So
right, okay. Fair. I want to say we were on a show like this, right, with Terrence, and we were talking about like, yo, like, what's gonna happen next? And I always thought the logical thing was the Big Ten is gonna make a press to get, like you said, into the SEC's backyard at some point, right? Like this is the ultimate pissing contest. And they're going to find a way to win that. That's what I think is the next thing that's going to happen. I will say, though, I wonder how all of this affects Notre Dame because Notre Dame is really on an island right now.
I think at some point they're gonna be forced to choose, and they're gonna choose the Big Ten because that's just a natural fit. I think. But I think at some point Notre Dame's going to be forced to choose. because
Well,
I
and
think at some point, I think we're going to get to the point where, I mean, man, I feel like I recalled this 3-4 years ago. 2 mega conferences. This is about to be a thing. Like, if you don't see where this is going, this is where we're going. And it might not be called the SEC anymore, and it might not be called the Big Ten at that point. But we're gonna have two. You're gonna have NFL light. You're gonna have the NFC and the AFC, and then you're gonna have divisions in these conferences, bro. Like this is what you're gonna get.
and they're going to be brutal schedules, right?
Yep.
There's going to be no more McNeese State on on in November,
Yeah,
right?
there's not gonna. Yeah, there's not gonna be a lot of those. I think the lower tier schools, those schools suffer the most because they're not no longer you're gonna get $1 million to play Miami and take a whooping. And that's gonna suck for them because they need those games.
I've always said, bro, if you separate the two, if you had kind of like Chip Kelly said, 64 team in the top tier versus 64 team in the bottom tier or whatever, it'd be really nice if there was a relegation system though. To say if you're in the bottom 10 of that top 64, you're gonna now go to that bottom group of like you get what I'm saying?
Somebody else I was listening to was talking about that. And in a perfect world, that makes a lot of sense. But the schools will never go for that crap.
No, well, not in the United States. That's how they do things in Europe with soccer.
Yeah.
But now they want to keep everything intact so everybody can get paid.
Yeah.
But that would be that would be ideal. Not going to happen, but I do think it's going to end up something like that. And I honestly don't know why. And I've said this for probably 4 or 5 years now. Group of 5 schools. Why aren't you playing spring football? It's being real, right?
Yes. Use that time. Yes. I agree. I think a lot of the lower tier, like you said, use the spring to get the most shine, up your brand.
Yeah, make some more
money. I thought when the HBCUs did that during COVID, I thought that was a great idea. I don't know why they don't continue to do that. Yeah, I'm with you there. You can't you can't compete with. Nobody wants to watch Memphis when Florida State's on TV.
That's right, bro.
Like you can't. Go ahead.
That's right. No, you're right, bro. It's even with the HBCUs, and we've had some great discussions about that in the past. But hey, FAMU, it'd be really nice instead of me watching the AFL or the USFL,
or the XFL.
Yeah, man.
I'll watch college football all day over that crap for sure.
Bro. Let me watch FAMU versus Bethune on spring break for y'all classic. Let me watch that.
Absolutely.
Let me watch that. Y'all running that game on Turkey Day down here. Nah, man. Turkey Day in South. I mean, y'all they had the classic the same week that you guys have Florida State, Florida. Ain't nobody
That's the same week. Bro, that's the same week of Florida State, Florida. That's the same week of Auburn, Alabama. That's the same. That's rivalry. Like, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Right, like just get out of this line of thinking like it's disrespectful to you. Like, no, like I'm pretty sure there's still money to be made in March too. You know what I'm saying? Just wait it out a little bit. You know what I mean?
And I think a byproduct of that is that makes transfer portal a little bit more regulated. If you're splitting up the season like that. That then now cuts the transfer portal kind of in half.
Because you lose a year, right? You lose a year. So if you're a Power 5 guy or a top 64, right, and you're a fall guy and you enter the transfer portal and you don't get picked up by a top 64, that means you got to go and roll at a bottom 64. But you've already played your season, right? So you can't play that season. You have to go redshirt now. You know what I'm saying? And now that to me, you get what I'm saying? It essentially forces kids to think twice. Number one, and number two, to your point, Adrian, it does self-regulate what happens with the kids now. You can't just jump in and wait and be like, oh, I'm gonna get that call from FAU, man. I'm gonna wait it out for, I'm gonna wait it out for Prime to call me. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you better go to where they want you now. You know what I'm saying? But don't go at all.
I mean, we're just talking pie in the sky right now, but
yeah, for sure.
I think
Yeah,
a
man.
lot of that stuff makes way too much sense.
Yeah, man.
But it
Yeah, man.
probably obviously never happened.
Yeah. Shout out to UCF getting manhandled by Georgia
Yeah,
Tech.
they're getting waxed right now by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, they getting manhandled up front. And I love me some Gus Malzahn, man. I love me some Gus Malzahn, but that's the difference. That is
Yeah,
absolutely the difference
you
between
talked
Group
all that
Five.
trash about Group of Five and your first. This is the first year in the Power Five, right?
Yep, first year.
They're about to have a losing season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, they I don't know, man. They people got to think about that. People got to think about that. Anyway, well, it's time to turn left, ain't it?
You want to?
I've been ready. I've
Okay,
been ready.
let's turn left. All right.
I've been
I know.
ready.
Mr. Maurice is in the chat, so he'll love this.
What's up, Maurice?
All right, man. So good news for Deion. Seton actually signed. Let's just start from the beginning because we talked about Colorado before the season, but we haven't had any conversations, at least publicly. Obviously, we have had conversations.
Sure.
Just the Colorado season, how it all up. We talked about it, man, and we talked about how I didn't feel like the way you build a team was the way he decided to do it. And they started off hot, and I'll even admit I was surprised how well they looked, especially offensively. I was like, okay, they look a lot more in sync than I expected them to. Okay, UCF,
They popped one.
yeah,
I just took it off.
but obviously the whole wheels fell off that thing by the end of the season. Where I'm trying to think of the right question to ask here. Where do you agree with his strategy during the season of essentially saying, I need better players right now while you're still playing games? And then obviously going into the offseason, here we are. And we'll get into like the recruiting and the transfer portal stuff. But just I want to start with during the season because we didn't talk much about that.
If you there's a quote from Deion that says, "I never want to coach pro because them dudes get paid money," and basically that I don't want to deal.
Yeah, I
with
know.
someone-
I remember him saying stuff like that. Yeah.
It was like I don't want to deal with someone who doesn't want to work but's getting paid or something like that.
He
Right?
said something to the likes of, "Yeah, I can't coach the pros because something like that." Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mr. Maurice would know exactly what he said because that's his biggest fan.
that's his guy, which is fine, Maurice. And I'm gonna just say something because I knew this conversation was gonna come up. Everybody in the chat that doesn't know me, I love football before I love any team. All right, so I'm not speaking from this jaded like Miami fan or whatever. I just love the game. Period. Okay, and I say that to say this: how can you say in the same breath, "I don't want to coach pros," but what you just did when you like made that statement seems to me like we need better linemen? That's something you say in the pros. You don't say that to a college kid. You're supposed to get back in the lab and figure out how to get Tom, Jimmy, whatever their names is up front better for next week. That's how college coaches have always done it, right? So to me, what you basically said is, and we've said this, Adrian, I don't want to coach. I don't want to develop. I want the guy. I want the guy that can do the job right now. And that's a pro's mindset. And that's cool if that's what you want to do, but you just told us you don't want to do that. Right?
So here's my problem, man, when it comes to this Deion conversation. And my problem is really the hypocrisy of it.
That's what that is. Absolutely.
Because we talk about other coaches and we talk about what they using the portal and developing kids. Like one of the long-standing jokes in the troll world on social media is, Florida State, they don't develop kids, they just get kids out of the portal, and like that's supposed to be some type of negative recruiting pitch, and that's supposed to be some type of knock on Mike Norvell. Okay, cool, but those same people are Deion Sanders fans.
Right.
What has he developed? Not only can you ask that question, here's the better question. Oh, I don't even know if it's a question. It could be a flat out statement. He obviously doesn't care about developing anything.
It's very obvious.
He's blatantly came out and said, "I'm not going to coach you up. I'm going to get rid of you and bring someone else in." That's
Right,
what he said.
right, right.
So
If you told me, Adrian, if you told me that in year one, his portal strategy was we're going to take kids, mostly kids with 3 years or more of eligibility, because you know what?
that's how you do it though. That's how you should do it.
But if you told me that was the play, right, then cool. Okay. That was never the play. And that reaffirms what you just said, right? I don't really have the time to coach and develop the way you think or the way it typically is done, right? He's on a schedule. We said this schedule from get go, which is I got Shedeur for 2 years, and we gonna blow this thing out.
Well,
We're
they
gonna
called me
make
dumb when I said that. They said I was. They said that was a conspiracy theory when I said that at the beginning. When I saw the way he was moving at the beginning, when you cut 70, 80% of your roster initially, I said, "Whoa, you're not there for the long haul, my guy. You're trying to
no,
win right now." And
no. It was very
everybody
obvious.
said, and everybody's like, "Man, that's conspiracy theory." No, he wants to. No,
You
he,
remember what they said? They said that those kids, that because they went winless, they clearly weren't good enough to be on the football team. That's what they said, right? That is false. That's not how this has ever worked, bro. It's not how it's ever worked. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the point being is um, the message is very clear that this time next year, when we're talking about, and by the way, the best development he ever did was meeting Shedeur's mom, knocking her up, and coaching him from when he was a kid because he's a stud. He's a stud. He's an absolute stud. Call it what it is. And there's no other coach in the country that can show up to a job and say, hey, I got an NFL caliber quarterback for a son. Nobody else can do that, right? That's what's saving him right now. Imagine if Shedeur wasn't Shedeur, right? Who's he coaching up?
well, that
So
was the big question when he left. Jackson State. That was the question: is Shedeur who we think he is, or is he a product? Now, I thought Shedeur played extremely well last year.
I think he's amazing. I think he's amazing. Sorry to cut off, but just to be
No,
very clear with y'all, there's been two transfers, including Shedeur, that I think are the best transfers, other than Joe Burrow in recent history. It's Kenneth Walker the third. Okay,
mhm.
that's a transfer portal transfer. This is what I'm talking about now.
Kenneth
Uh,
Walker got Mel Tucker that huge extension,
he got him. He got him $90 million.
and then after that, Mel Tucker shitted it all away. And that's even before the off field stuff. After Kenneth Walker left, that program died.
If you when you signed that extension,
That's,
Mel Tucker,
that's a great point.
you should have locked yourself in a box. I'm not talking to nobody. I am MSU football till I die. Y'all gonna have to take me out of this bitch. You understand what I'm saying? Like nothing, bro. Because that kid Kenneth Walker, would they win 11 games that year? He
Bro,
was
yeah,
he was a Heisman semifinalist or Heisman finalist. He wasn't even getting clock at Wake Forest like that. And like y'all found this, he was like Barry Sanders or something, bro. Like I don't think we've seen a back like that, you know. So I think he's in that same category because I'm telling you right now, if Shadeur's not on that Colorado team, not only are they 0-12, they're 0-12 in the worst way. I mean, they're getting blown out by 40 points a game. The TCU game wouldn't even have been a conversation. You know what I mean?
right.
They would have lost to TCU by 60 and everybody would have quit. So um, I say that to say that if we're looking at what Deion's done and Deion's doing, there's nothing I could look at to be like, oh man, this is the plan that's going to lead Colorado to being a power in the Big 12 for the next 5 years. It's more like, yeah, let me make sure I get my dog some help because we're going first round next year.
Well, there is no 5 year plan, and that's my issue.
Yeah.
There's no, like nobody wants to address it, and this program is in the mud. Like I get it, they weren't good before he got there, They're not good now. I mean, let's not act like. I mean, I know the sidelines look like the BET Hip Hop Awards every weekend,
Oh,
but
for
they
sure.
only won 4 games, so we can stop
For sure.
pretending like they were a good football team.
Right.
But I don't know how a man who's called an elite recruiter signs 6 guys or 5 guys.
And it's because you didn't want to sign anymore. That's the only logic.
That's what
That's
I
the
said. It
only
had to be
logic.
intentional. It had to be intentional.
There's no, you can't. If Deion Sanders was doing what Mike Norvell does, what Mario Cristobal does, and on the bye week, he's on a helicopter going to every important game. You know what I'm saying? Mario at Oregon was famous for jumping a private jet to go to Texas. After that, you know what I mean, to make sure that he was in Texas so he could get all these kids, and you know what I mean, bro. Like if Deion was doing that, bro, and just spitballing here, Adrian. If you were Deion Sanders and you're recruiting a kid, say in the Atlanta area, wouldn't you have somebody like Quavo with you at the game? Because you could probably do that. You know what I'm saying? Or like if you're in South Florida and you're Deion Sanders, you don't think you could get Michael Irvin to show up with you to watch
Yeah,
ABC?
he was doing all of that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like this should have Deion being a recruiter should have been a slam dunk. That should have been the easiest thing he ever did. Because all he had to do was show up. You go to one of these modern day games or whatever. Hey Snoop, come here with me. All right, bet. Like that's all the conversation would have been, and he would have gotten any kid he wanted. But clearly, that wasn't the motive in all of this.
I gotta ask because he keeps saying, "When are we going to speak the facts?" Come on, what are the facts? I'm curious because the facts are what 4-8,
4-8, which I called
4-8, 4-8. Okay, so 4-8's a fact. That's not an opinion. Okay, facts. 100th recruiting class or whatever it is. That's fact, right?
right 99th.
Okay. 99th. Okay, that's a fact. Okay.
Right.
What's some other facts, Jurg? I don't know.
Well, here goes a good fact. Maurice, you're right. He has the top 3 highest recruits in CU history on one team. That's a fact. Who else has he recruited? Who else?
Well, UCF just threw a pick. Like,
How's that? Hold on, Maurice. How's that false? Who else has he recruited? If you take away Shedeur and Travis, those are Jackson State recruits, right? That just happen to make their way over there. He's recruited Seaton, McLean, and who else? This kid, Drayleon Miller. Is that the receiver he got this year? Alo Drayleon Miller.
21st total recruiting class, boy. If you don't stop lying, or let me guess, you're using the transfer portal to boost that up.
By the way, he's got 100 transfers, which inflates that.
Okay, so we're gonna use the transfer portal to boost up. Since when have we done that? That has come on, bro. So Maurice, you can't even be genuine in the conversation. So I can't even. It's like when you start doing this, you can't even have the conversation.
Right. What's up, Adong Bay? I ain't heard from you in a while. So you got Cormani Seaton. Who else? This is year 2. Since when has it been okay in 2 years for a college football coach to recruit like 15 high school kids? When has that been a thing?
15
right?
would be a plus. He doesn't have double digits.
And I'm saying over 2 years, I think he has like 15, maybe. You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't make any sense to me, bro. So you can't say that he's an elite recruiter.
I found another Deion fan. I act like Deion's been there 10 years. What does that have to do with anything?
Hello, Phoenix. That's got to be Terrence. That's got to be.
That might be Terrence. That might be Terrence.
Oh, that's going to be Terrence.
Good one. You caught it.
That boy, you see that boy Phoenix pop out.
Terrence, that's Terrence Burner. You got it.
That's funny, man. But I think the whole point is, if you're looking at just being a football fan and the standard of performance for coaches, any traditional measuring stick, for some reason, is being thrown out the window for Deion, while everybody else is being held accountable for it.
Thank you. Everybody else is accountable, but Deion's allowed. Bro, I argued with the same fans that the transfer portal isn't sustainable. You can't build a team that way, X, Y, and Z. But when Deion do it, I get comments like this. He's not trying to recruit high school kids. 40-40-20 is the model. I don't even know what the hell 40-40-20 means. Maybe you do. But why is it okay for him to focus that way, but everybody else, high school recruiting is the only way to get it done?
So real quick. Oh, what's Tyler? What's up, boy? I ain't see Tyler in a minute. Let me, Adrian. I'm gonna go handle something. I'll be right back because I'm gonna just.
Go do your thing.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. Yeah, Terrence, you can't fool me. You can't fool me. No, I know that. I know that. I said that from Jump Street. I said he's only here as long as Shedeur is here. He's gonna get his son to the pros, and then he's leaving. But again, the same people that are justifying his strategy told me I was crazy when I said that. So everybody's having a whole different. Everybody's flipped the script. You can go watch the video I did at the beginning of the season, and these same people who are commenting in the comments right now justifying that stuff, they're the same people who's telling me I was wrong at the beginning of the year. So you can check the tape. The tape don't lie. The comments are still there. The chat still shows up. Yeah, Mr. Maurice was in that chat justifying that nonsense or telling me I was wrong. Now he's justifying it. You're right. It's a cult leader. Again, these people aren't even Colorado fans. They're Deion Sanders fans. But his it's not going to work. Just like I said at the beginning of the year, it wasn't going to work. It's not going to work. You cannot continue to jumble teams together in a 6-month stretch and then think you're going to all of a sudden they're going to play as a cohesive unit come the fall. It's not going to happen. You can't and there's a reason why contracts exist in the pros. You have to have continuity to some degree. And I know that's a novel concept to these fans. But if we can't even sit down and have a real conversation about the process of building a roster without people saying that you're not speaking nothing, no opinions, you're just speaking opinions and no facts. Bro, there's facts being spoken here. You just don't want to accept them. Which ones are you talking about initially? So how many wins next year is a failure? You tell me. You're the Deion fan. What's a failure next year? Is just getting to a bowl game in year two is that the success? What I don't know. What's the failure? Welcome to the ESPN postgame presented by Capital One. Ronald says he thinks there for 3 or 5 years. If he's here. Listen to me, Ronald. I don't know if you're a Deion fan or not, or if you're just giving your opinion. If Deion Sanders is there for 3 to 5 years, then he is cutting his legs off under him with the way he's approaching building this team. If he's going to be there for 3 to 5 years, then he needs to take high school recruiting a lot more serious. Or at least that's what I was told Mike Norvell needs to do. No, Dennis isn't T2I. He's been around for a while. He's feeling good because Miami's the offseason champs and they had a good recruiting class. So, like most Miami fans, they come in and they talking big boy stuff. They don't win on the field. 7-5. They lost to Florida State 3 straight years, but he feels good in the offseason. Let Dennis do his thing. Florida State fans, y'all can kill him in the comments because, I mean, that's typical Miami nonsense right there. Deion will leave, and those kids will be left in the cold. The roster's going to be depleted when he leaves, is my point. There's not like, again, the 40-40-20 model that everybody's talking about. So all of the roster is going to be draft eligible by the time Deion leaves. And with the way the transfer portal already works, those kids only are there for him. When he leaves after this season, they all hit the transfer portal again, and it's a wrap. But I guess if you're Colorado, you got a couple years of being the most talked about program in the nation, and then you go back to the doldrums of college football, of irrelevancy. because he's not setting the program up for success on his way out. That's a fact. Again, we're talking about facts and not opinions. There's another fact. Well, he's not winning now, so that's going to be hard to do. You feel me? Yeah, I got you, man. 3 years of eligibility is awesome. I hear you. That doesn't mean they're not going to be eligible for one to leave again or the draft. Granted, I don't know if anybody he's pulled in. I got to see who he pulled in transfer portal altogether. Like, I think the best guy that I've seen in the transfer portal so far, and again, I could be wrong here, but might be that Pitt defensive end who I actually thought Miami was going to get because his brother plays at Miami, but he went over there to Colorado. So that might be the best guy he pulled out the portal. I would have to look it up because it's not like I have. Matter of fact, I can look it up. Let's go to 247 and look at that 21st overall recruiting class. Let's go. Let's do that. I didn't know we started. I legit didn't know we started adding transfer portals to recruiting class. I've never done that. Even Florida State, I don't do that. Okay.
So, what they talking about, man?
So Maurice he's the way basically you see on the screen here. He's kind of justifying it in the sense of like the guys he's bringing in the portal have 3+ years of eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's accurate, but I want to look up this portal class to see exactly who he's bringing in, because I actually don't know everybody that he's bringing in.
Because there's a million of them. That's part of the problem. Another thing, by the way, not fair to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's actually had the best portal class that there is right now, if you ask me. I think he's absolutely smashed the portal this year and last year. He's done a fantastic job, man. He's not getting enough credit for that, to be completely honest with you. Another conversation, though.
I disagree with this comment. If he leaves, there's no different than other coaches leaving. Well, it is. You're right. You're right in a sense. You're right in a sense that yes, other coaches leave, life goes on. But like Jerg just said, that's a cop out because other coaches aren't leaving without 2 or 3 years of recruiting.
Right. What Deion's done is ruin the program if he doesn't work.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is this true? Because I have not seen any. Because I'm looking at recruiting rankings right now, and nobody uses the total recruiting rankings and rankings.
Maurice, it can be included if you choose to, but no. When you talk about recruitment rankings, when they do those posts on TV about top recruiting classes, they base it off of high school ranks. You will see them occasionally say, well, if you factored in the portal, this would be blank, right? And in Deion's case, you're right. It would be 21st now if factored in. Sure. But then if you was to also, Maurice, want to, I don't know, use some other metric, they'll show you, Adrian, you probably know what it's called, basically a projection of programs based on talent on the roster. And that's all based off high school recruiting. And they'll show you, hey, in 4 years, we expect these programs to be ranked, top 5, top 10 based on their recruiting classes. And you won't find Colorado on there anyway. You won't find them top 30, top 40, none of that because they're not bringing in talent. Adongbe, you're right. There's 2 of them. It's just a matter of if you choose to acknowledge the one with the portal in it. Bradley with the comment of the day, by the way.
.247 doesn't do it. I'm looking at 247. They don't do it. They separate it by the portal and recruiting and the composite.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it because 247 is my go-to. if you look at the 247 rankings, Colorado's all the way at 90. They don't include the transfer portal, so that's false. They don't. But anyway, I'm looking at. I want to look at some of these Colorado transfer players. So right now, the top guy is Preston Hodge. He's a safety, and he's a junior.
I think honestly, so far, their best pickup is going to be Okunlola.
That's what I said. I said the same thing.
Yeah.
Got Quincy Wiggins from Louisiana FSU. He was the top 50 guy coming out.
Shimon Mateer is going to be good for them too. That's a Miami kid. He's going to be really good for them actually.
Tyler Johnson, interior O lineman out of Houston.
Bro, there's somebody was trying to tell me that, he was talking about Jordan Seaton, and he was like, if he goes in Colorado and it doesn't work out, he can just go repair his career elsewhere. And I'm trying to explain to people.
Seaton's an interesting case. Like, so obviously something happened there down the stretch. I'm surprised he ended up staying there, to be honest with you.
You know what happened. We know what happened. The bag man doesn't only work one way, right? This is call it what it is. You people, this is what happens, bro.
But Deion said they don't do that over there.
Okay.
Okay. Don't blame me because I hold a man to his word. He said they don't do that over there.
Okay.
Just like he said he wishes like once kids commit, they ain't allowed to take visits. But his biggest signings have all been flips. So.
Right. Yeah, because he had Carmani committed to Miami in Colorado, right? Or he had Travis secretly visiting Jackson State, I'm sure, at some point. But no, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I forget what I was saying now. That's funny. But you can't say that the bag man is the reason why he was going to leave, but that same bag man just now disappeared when the kid's going. You think this kid was going to go to Colorado without getting paid? The number one offensive tackle in the country. You got to be out your mind. Got to be out your mind. Let's get it. Yep.
You can screenshot and send me anything that you think fits your narrative. When you pull up the 2024 recruit football team rankings, they're not in there. Now, if you click on the overall tab, then yes, Colorado goes all the way to 21 because they have 16 transfers. And what is that? 5?
Adrian, that's a good point.
2, 3,
that's a good point.
6 guys out of high school. What's up? What's the point?
No, that's a good point because that's basically saying they don't consider the transfer portal recruiting, right? Because if you know what I'm saying, that's the message they're sending, right? They're saying that, look, we have our recruiting rankings, but then you have, what is it? Essentially an overall
like commit list.
Yeah, an overall commitment ranking.
I do consider the portal recruiting, obviously. But I just don't think you should combine the two. The portal's the portal.
Yep.
And they're two kind of separate entities. Right. So I've never because if you do that, like everybody says, well, Mike Norvell's never signed until this year. He was signing classes in the low teens and high 20s. Mm-hmm. But if you were adding the portal to that, well, then he's always been in around 15, 15 plus as a recruiter.
Yeah.
But that's my point with Deion. They pick and choose the narrative for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That these other coaches don't get the pleasure of.
Mm-hmm.
But let's keep going about okay. So Jordan Seaton, obviously, that's a legit commit.
I got to tell you, man, everything I know about offensive lines, how they're structured and what makes offensive linemen good.
I already know where you're going.
but it's just not. It's not present at Colorado right
It's not feasible. What they're trying to do isn't feasible.
now. No,
And I was saying this when you went and when you went on doing it, whatever you're doing. This
Mhm.
notion that you continuously flip a roster with 30 or 40 kids every year just because these guys ain't good enough to play here,
Mhm.
and you knowingly we know that the worst position on that team is probably both offensive and defensive lines, but
Mhm.
really offensive line
Mhm.
is more than just adding bodies. It's about continuity and cohesion,
Mhm.
and it's not going to
Mhm.
have that next year. This team
Mhm.
still isn't going to have that next year.
Mhm. Mhm. Look, and I'm sorry to get off track, but Marie says we're in year two, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're right, you're in year two. But I said this when shoot, it was springtime. Is everybody made that exodus after spring? Remember Adrian, the big 6'8", 320 pounder that he said apparently, you got good things and you got bad things, but I hope you go find a program where they can turn your weaknesses into your strengths, is what he said to the kid. Dion, that kid is supposed to be in camp with you right now, learning how to play football the Deion Sanders way, right? Something that you should be doing is figuring out how to get that kid at 6'8", 320 to be the type of lineman you need to help grow your program, even if he's a backup for 4 years, right? Like that's how people build programs, is with bodies that are committed to the process, whatever your process is, you know? And it just seems like Dion doesn't understand that. Jackson State was really easy, and I've said this 1,000 times, because
Yes,
you put the biggest fish in the smallest pond and say
absolutely.
go swim to be the
Absolutely.
top dog. There's
That
no
Jacksonville State strategy worked because, of course, it worked.
who the equivalent of him doing that right now in FBS football would have been him walking in with, I don't know, Cam Newton and I don't know, Peter Warwick. If you walked in with Cam Newton and Peter Warwick, maybe Colorado would have had 6, 7 games last year. You know what I'm saying? But this is just a totally different thing. Like, these kids go to programs that are established with processes simply because they want to get into a winning program with a winning mentality, and it doesn't seem like Dion's giving himself the time.
I love this comment though because that's what you know. Like we talk about the transfer portal, and yes, you can find good players, but if you're not compounding that with your high school recruiting, to think you can flip a roster with everybody else's second and third stringers is wild.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why a lot of these kids are in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
The big guns who are in the portal usually kind of know where they're going before they hit.
Keon Coleman was it somebody? Phoenix brought up Keon Coleman, which I know is Terrence, but
Right.
Phoenix brought up Keon Coleman. That's a great point. Keon Coleman knew he was a first rounder before he left Michigan State. His quarterback left him. If you guys don't remember that, Peyton Thorne left to go to Auburn, and he wanted to go elsewhere. So he went to where he thought where was the best opportunity for him, and it happened to be playing at Florida State. You guys would
But
be naive.
how
Just
many
listen.
Keon Colemans?
No, but just hear me out, because he's bringing up the chemistry. You guys would be naive
That
to
is a
think,
wide receiver, bro. But go
but
ahead.
but wouldn't you be naive to think that Keon Coleman wouldn't have been better had he been there with Jordan Travis for
A
2 years?
couple, absolutely. I guarantee you, if Coleman came back for a senior year, and Jordan had another year of eligibility, they would have been even better next year.
But that
Absolutely.
and
They did
and, and
everything they did this year was on the fly.
and
Absolutely.
and that's what I'm trying to say. But we're talking about linemen, and everybody thinks that lineman is not just put him in front. Either he can block or he can't. No, it is one of the most complex sciences there is in football, right? Figuring out what a front's doing, what the second level's doing, and how my interaction with my teammate affects that, right? The kid Seaton is going to be in for a hell of a ride. I hope he does a great job. I hope they put him next to somebody that can lead him, guide him. I hope that's his best friend, because that's not going to be easy playing left tackle with the left guard that's brand new, a center that's brand new, a right guard that's brand new, and a right tackle that's brand new.
And he's new. And he's new to college. Period.
And
I don't care how talented you think he is. If he don't have no guidance.
And listen, I got to tell you this. Jordan Seaton's a 5-star kid. We'll all agree on that. He's not Orlando Pace, right? He's not our boy down in Miami, Maui Noah. He's definitely not Maui Noah. He's not Panay Sewell or one of these guys. He's good. He's not one of them, right? The point is that guy should have went to wherever was going to give him a chance to work his way in. That's why when they said Oregon was getting involved, I was like, okay, Oregon makes sense. You got some stability there. You got a good
Oregon, Alabama, any of those schools that would have made him sit for about 6 or 7 games, and then you ease him into the process. A1. But if you think for 1 second he's not going to Colorado to play game 1, you've lost your mind. They can't afford to not. So they can't afford to not have him play game 1.
And you know the first person he's going to see, and again, this is a good pickup, they're going to put Okunlola right on top of him and say, have at it, right? Have at it. You said you a dog. Here goes a dog for you, because that kid Okunlola could start almost anywhere in the country. You understand? So if that's what you wanted, that's what you're going to get at Colorado in spades, and you better pick it up quick. You know? Maurice, I'm not being a hypocrite. You're not hearing what's being said. You're not listening. You know, I don't know how else to say that to you. The same kid, Maui Noah, who started.
Who he played next to is the point.
Inez Cooper, who's already had a year in the system, who played next to a center that had 4 years worth of college snaps at a high level.
A veteran center, absolutely.
And Cohen, who coming out of Bama had an NFL grade already, and then Rivers, who had 3 years of experience, and he's learning also from Zion Nelson, who's been like. There's
Maui Noah played on a veteran offensive line. Like it's not hard to comprehend. It's not hard to comprehend.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And I'm telling you right now, Maurice, if you think that what Colorado assembled through transfers is what Mario assembled last year through transfers, you are out of your mind. You're totally out.
He's a Miami fan too. He's a Miami fan.
That's what I'm saying. If you think that the center that they brought in, I forget where the kid's from UTEP, is better than Matt Lee, you're crazy. If you think any person that they brought in is better than Javion Cohen, you're insane. They don't have 2 better players right now than Rivers and Cooper. Just telling you that right now. They don't have one. You can include Seaton in that, right? The point is this kid's going to go play with a unit that has no idea what they're doing whatsoever.
My big thing is, even if, I don't know, let's say some of those guys are good, they haven't played together.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right. You know what? I mean, it's only a matter of time. And again, it's not about saying that a kid's going to do bad or anything. It's just, y'all got to think about this logically. Why does this logic all of a sudden go out
change for this? Yeah, it changes for this. Like, I don't. Yeah, I find it crazy that I get so much pushback on this for just asking these questions.
Absolutely.
Because when I said it before the beginning of this initial season, I was told, no, man, we good. They good, Deion. We coming. We coming. Okay.
It sounds good. Right.
And what you probably want to be more concerned with, is you're spending a lot of time on the O-line. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably want to be more concerned with your secondary, because I don't know what's in that secondary right now. Is Cormani gonna take a step? What's the deal with that? I still don't think Travis Hunter needs to be playing all those snaps.
Time out. Who's playing linebacker? Who's playing linebacker? Because they converted that safety last year. He was getting washed. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a great question. So maybe Mauricio. That defense is still a problem.
Right. Who's playing D tackle? Serious question. Who's playing D tackle at Colorado next year? Boys was telling me, oh, we got Warren Sapp as the coach. That's great. Who's he coaching? Serious question.
But see, this is where I don't agree with that. He could have came back with that O line while adding additional pieces to it. That's how you build it. You come back with that same O line. If you believe in your coaching and development, those guys have room to grow.
Right.
But we don't want to do that. You come back with that same line.
Right.
While also bringing in the C-ins and your portal guys. Now you're causing what? Competition. Now iron sharpens iron. Oh my God, we're developing a damn football team. What a novel concept.
Right. Adrian, I still want to know, because I'm curious, who's the linebacker? Because I know they got a kid from Bama last year. I don't think he played. Who's the linebacker? Who's the D tackles?
They had Brandon Gant. I don't think he played a snap for him either.
Who are we talking about? This is a serious question, bro. I'm looking at the portal editions. I don't see nobody.
I closed the window, but my guess is they got some guys.
Is Quincy Wiggins a D tackle now? I thought he was an edge. Oh, that's right. They got this kid, the 5'11" kid. You know what I'm talking about, Adrian from Houston.
Who's your best friend?
Who's that?
Boxing Monster.
Oh, here we go. Hey, you know, I'm leaving Texas, DF. You can come visit the estate while I'm gone. I'll leave a key under the mat for you. You can come hang out. I'll leave a TV in here for you, bro. I know you're gonna miss me. You know, I know you're gonna miss me. I don't want my family to meet you though, because you're deplorable at best. But no, let's take a look. So they got the 5'11", 300-pounder from Houston, Adrian, the buddy with the that had the weed and the guns that you know what I'm talking about.
In the video, that was him.
Yeah, that's him. So you got a 5'11", 300-pounder from Houston, and then you got a Bama transfer who hadn't seen the field in 3 years coming in and play D tackle for you. So you know what, hey man, have at it. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Bro, I'm okay with the portal. I'm a supporter of the portal. I just did not expect a 6-man recruiting class. 20, give me 20 guys.
After all the hype you built up, right? After all the hype you built up, man,
that's where I'm at.
If I'm at Colorado and I'm a recruit, and I'm like, man, I just met LeBron James, and on my way down to the field, I just seen Quavo now. Sign me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, how aren't you getting that kid to be like, yo, come kick it with us? You know? I don't know, man. It just seems odd, bro. Seems very odd. Don't forget about the returning player, Maurice who, bro? The returning players for the trash defense.
The biggest thing going in their favor, in my opinion, is the fact that they are going to the Big 12. That conference is probably wide open at this point. I don't know.
It is.
Who's in the lead in that conference?
Texas
and Oklahoma out. I don't know what that conference is right now.
Time out though. They're not better than Kansas. They're not going to be better than Kansas. And they're not going to be better than Kansas State.
If Kansas plays the way they played this year, I agree with that. But Kansas is one of those programs where I don't know. Can I put a lot of stock in that? But I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
The quarterback's coming back, though, because he was hurt again. The one that was in the Heisman talk last year. I forget his name. Yeah. He'll be back. It was like Jaden. Yeah, something like that. But so you got Kansas. You got Kansas State. I don't think they're better than both of them. They're going to wax UCF. I'll give them that. Well, even so.
I mean, we'll see what Gus does. I mean, UCF is going to be able to match them probably for the athletes. That'll probably be a fun game actually to watch. Yeah, that'll be a fun game to watch.
That's going to be 54-52.
Yeah, that'd be
right.
Fun.
That'll be 54-52. Texas Tech. You can't sleep on a Texas Tech. You know what I'm saying? So they got to see TCU again. You got to get that bad blood out of your mouth. Right?
That'd be interesting to see how TCU responds.
And don't they go to Nebraska next year, don't they?
Yes,
on
they play
out of
Nebraska again.
conference?
They play Nebraska again. And Rule's gonna yeah. That's gonna be another interesting game. Because if
That's
Jess
gonna be.
Sims doesn't turn the ball over 55 times in that game or whatever that number was, you know,
I want to see. I want to see Raiola.
they don't play TCU next year apparently. I guess.
They're not on the schedule. I just know they're in the conference.
Yeah, I just know they're in the conference too. Um,
Hey, Maurice, Miami didn't play Nebraska. I don't know what we you talking about.
he's a Deion. He's a Buffalo bro. Skull Buff.
Oh, oh,
That's what they tweet. Skull Buff or whatever the hell that means. Skull
he's a
Buff.
He's a CUM fan. That's what it is.
See,
I
this is
didn't
where we
realize what that's about. My
see
bad.
Maurice. Now we gotta have real football conversations now. Jeff Sims don't play defense, but
He wasn't watching the game.
if you turn the ball over 5 times and completely put your defense, which played extremely well in that game, in short field situations, come on now, let's talk football. Let's not come on talk football now.
Bro, if I want to do a watch along again next year for the first couple Colorado games, Adrian, because you remember we're watching the Nebraska game, and every single time they got a chance to rush forward, it was over. It was it was like I remember the first time I said it. I said, "Oh, they're gonna rush forward now. They're gonna get some pressure." And it was like sack. Like that's going to be the story of Colorado is can you avoid that happening, right? And then the other story is going to be, and I said this last year, are you going to continue to play Travis two ways? Because to me, to win more than 6 games, Travis needs to get me 115 catches. That's where we need to be at. You know, if Travis isn't getting me 115 catches, because he's not going to stop nothing on defense, not because he's not good at it, but the defense is going to give up 50, right? I need Travis to go out there and get me my numbers at receiver. I'm curious to see if they let that happen. Very, very curious to see. That's a funny comp. DF, you're not that bad. You're not that bad, man. I don't care what Adrian be saying about you, bro.
He picks and chooses when he wants to be, DF, he sometimey. DF sometimey, man.
Man. Mike, hop in, Mike. Mike, hop in. Get Mike a link. Get Mike a link. Hop in, Mike.
I'll send Mike a link right now.
Hop in, Mike. Let's go, bro.
Mike, you want a
Let's
link?
go.
I'll send you a link, bro.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mike gonna come in here and shut all this shit down.
Nah, Mike is man. I can sit and talk and listen to Mike all day, man. Mike, you better join too. Don't play no games either. You got an iPhone.
I'll send it to you on Facebook. Like,
Yeah, you got an iPhone. You know, Jermaine Taggart. I don't like people saying Taggart 2.0 that much, man. I don't like that.
that's the default. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah. It's like you pick the token black coach. Oh, that's Willie Taggart again. Like, bro, that's not cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Not cool at all.
I think with Deion, man, is he just I don't know, bro. I don't understand the strategy. Mike, I
No,
sent it to the group chat, Mike.
yeah, yeah,
The double dippers.
yeah. FSU the favorite. The fuck you talking about, New King? Uh, ever seen the ABC conference, Adrian?
I was trying to figure out who, but New King, that's one of your guys.
That's just funny to me, man.
New King's gonna say that Miami's gonna be the favorite next year, which maybe he will, maybe y'all will.
Yeah,
Be. Who knows?
yeah. Maurice, yeah, I'm gonna watch because it's entertaining.
I watch college football. First of all,
Yeah,
I'll sit down and watch San Diego State and San Jose State go at it for 4 quarters, but that's just me.
I remember I was up late watching Oregon State versus San Jose State. My wife was like, "Who them people in the whatever they are, the baby blue? They have baby blue and gold uniform." She said, "Who are they?" I'm like, "I really don't know, but I'm gonna watch it." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch that shit. You know, I
Tyler
was
says,
trying
"What
to.
I think, Rodney." Good luck at fam.
We just talked about that
Yeah,
earlier today. Yeah,
good luck at fam. let me say this. I think the Rodney thing kind of proves some of the reports. There's no way you hit the portal and go to FAMU. So one of two things happen, and ultimately, I think the combined, like you either was completely pushed out by the staff, which I don't think happened. What I think happened is you thought you had some bargaining chips. Florida State said, we'll up you, but not what you think you want. You still played hardball, and they said, well, if you're going to do that, then you can go. And now you're stuck at FAMU. And maybe he wanted to be at FAMU, but it just...
Adrian, what's the real, though? Like, so I don't think all these kids woke up today and said, hey, I'm going to become money hungry, right? So, like, I kind of wonder what the story is going to be when there's going to be a 30 for 30 on the NIL Wild Wild West that was 2023, right? And I wonder what that story for Florida State's going to be like. Who was the driving force, or who is the agent that everybody's aligned with that's saying, listen, no, I know at this school they're getting this number and you shouldn't settle for less. Or there's got to be something like that, bro.
Here's the sad. You know what? I don't agree. I don't think it's an agent. I listened to a lady on a Twitter space, a mother of a recruit. I won't call her out or her son, but a lady of a recruit literally sit in the Twitter space airing dirty laundry. But in the process of her trying to air dirty laundry, it basically says she was prostituting her son. And that coach showed up to her house without the bag, they didn't even entertain him. Yeah. Like when that's happening.
Yeah, fair enough. I think
you got a lot of parents who are they're as much in the process as the actual athlete,
right?
And it is what it is. It is what it is. I think that's happening. I think you have families that are dictating these moves,
right?
And when you have a site like On3 who has an NIL value attached to a prospect's profile,
right?
They're probably looking at that and thinking that's accurate,
right?
And On3 says I'm worth $100K.
Yeah, no.
I want $100K.
Yeah. Nah. You're right though. I mean, I'm sure it's something like that. I just it seems in particular like I think I hit you up when Peyton hit the portal, and I'm like, who are his people talking to be like, nah, Pat, you can definitely get X amount of dollars. Like,
and if he could have got it, he would have left by now.
Right. He wouldn't be sitting here in a limbo trying to figure out what school he's going to next.
Yeah. If Pat was worth what he thought he was worth, then Missouri would have gave him the bag by now. A lot of these guys, man, are getting bad information. They are absolutely getting bad information. Some of it might be from maybe there are some agents involved in some of this. I think a lot of it is from other. I think they're watching other players and they're getting advised by family that don't necessarily have the best interest in heart.
You had so I'm sure you paid attention to the Jeremiah Smith situation, right? And my understanding with that was his family was basically waiting on, hey, we're not going to send over that letter until the NIL agreement, because Ohio State, there was smoke late for Miami. So whatever happened, Ohio State for Smith, right?
Jeremiah.
Right. And they said Ohio State basically upped the ante, which is fine. But they were like, look, we're not sending through that letter until I get it in writing that this is going to happen. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I mean, that's what Jaden Rashada went through that. And, his dad was extremely involved in his recruitment. I mean, these things are happening, bro.
Well, that's what makes
Jeremiah Smith for me, and I'll just say this because I've said this the entire recruiting cycle, so anybody who watches me know, I always thought Jeremiah would be a Cane because the rest of his teammates are Hurricanes. And I get, if you took, in a perfect world, if you took NIL away, Jeremiah Smith would have committed to Miami.
You
I
know why?
100% guarantee that. But
You know
Ohio
what?
State does have a history with the receivers right now, and I'm pretty sure Ohio State came out and said, "Look, not only am I going to get you to the NFL, guaranteed, that's the track record right now. I'm gonna give you this fat bag in the meantime." And Miami can't say that. Miami can maybe match the bag, but Miami can't guarantee you the NFL at this moment.
That's what that's so to your point, right? Um, I think his heart was at home. To your point,
Obviously
I
was at
would have
home.
been I would have been playing with my dogs that I've been playing with since I was 8, right?
I agree with
And that's crazy. If a kid's kind of like all them kids from Lakeland that went
you.
to
Florida.
Florida, like you've been playing with them boys since Pee Wee. That's a dope feeling. But I think really it came down to that the safety. Like Ohio State is the safest possible landing for that kid, right? And I couldn't blame him. If the money
It's a surefire bet.
and if the money's the same, so if it was 500K from UM and 500K from Ohio State, if I was his family, I would have probably said, "Hey, I know you love it here, but you said you want to go to the league." Hello, Brian
Bruh,
Hartline. You know what I'm saying?
did you see this that just came down?
No.
Your boy Manny out there making moves.
Did
Guess
he
who
get
he just
Murphy?
got? He just got Murphy, bro.
Yeah, that's good for him, man.
That's a good pickup for him for sure.
Hey, people forget Manny was one of these dudes that kind of embraced the portal early. Not a lot of people embraced the portal as early as Manny Diaz did, bro. And he did a pretty good. I mean, remember he found Jalen Phillips was basically on his football deathbed, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and brought him into Miami. That's a good get for Manny, bro.
that is a
It's a
good get
great.
for him. That's a good way to start off your Duke tenure. He's an upgrade
Yeah.
over Riley, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just-
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be scared to play Duke, but I know that kid Murphy can ball. I know that. I know that for sure. Hell of an athlete. It was committed for a
But
month.
see, bro, I'm gonna say this, bro. I said it again. I said it before. I said it again. Jeremiah Smith was not coming to Florida State. The Shamadad kids trolled Florida State the entire season, and y'all didn't catch on to it. JoJo Trader was trending to Florida State, Miami. Saquon Patterson, same. I'm not going back down that road with y'all. I explained that to y'all over and over again. Y'all choose to ignore it. Continue
Hmm.
to listen to the people that you want to listen to. I told y'all how it was gonna go. The fact that Jeremiah Smith delayed throwing in that signing his letter told me everything I needed to know. I was not shocked by that.
Can I tell you what's funny is that you're on year 3 of having to temper the fan base's expectations
And they
because
don't listen to me.
you did it with Basaint.
Saint, I do it every year with a prospect. I tell guys, we ain't getting this guy. And they listen to these other guys, and these other guys tell them, this man's been committed for 6 months, silently committed. He's coming.
Hmm.
I do it every year. I do it every year.
That's it's hilarious to me, bro, because your logic is always very simple, but it's real. With Basaint is, hey man, his last name is Basaint. He's from Miami. He plays he plays linebacker at Miami Central. He's going to Miami. Like that was it. He's like, what are y'all stressing over? You know what I'm saying? It's not like this boy's been committed to FSU for 12 months and like no, he was clearly same thing with Bain, y'all.
And
Ruben
look, no knock.
Hurricane Bain.
And then we're counting on Randy to close these recruitments out in South Florida. Like, come on.
I've
Like,
been
come on.
told you about Randy, bro. I've been told
Come
you
on.
about coming for Randy, bro. I've been told you. But
But yeah, I'm glad somebody is speaking, and I don't have to speak it for myself. Right? We do this every year with a prospect, and here we go.
DF, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Manny Diaz hasn't learned how to defend counter since he's left Miami, it's gonna be a long day. A long day. Because you remember what UNC did to us when they all they did was run counter Trey. That's what he did. Those were a bunch of Manny kids running when Benson had his day against us 2 years ago. All y'all did was run counter Trey, and everybody's like, "Huh? How do you stop that?" Come on, man. I'll never forget that, man. I'll never forget that, man. Never forget
Mike, Mike ain't want to fool with us tonight.
he just want to talk shit, man. It's all
Yeah, he
right.
just want to talk shit. I hear you, Mike.
But you know what though, Adrian? I think I learned about Manny Diaz at Penn State. If you get him a certain type of athlete at linebacker, his defenses really go. They really, really go because at Penn State he had 2'6" guys that can run. You know what I'm saying? The problem is at Miami he never recruited them. You feel me? He never recruited them at Miami, so I'm curious to see what it looks like over there at Duke. You know?
I'm interested to see what he does at Duke. Duke's a tough job, man. I do hear that they're more invested in football these days. But it's still like the perception is it's still Duke.
Should have went to Temple. You should have waited for Temple. Though. I would have went to
I
Temple.
don't,
Yeah, yeah. You
I
know?
don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
Okay, so you don't take Duke. Would you go to well, Tulane was already filled. But there's another job. There's another group of five job out there that's better than Duke is my whole point. You know?
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. There definitely was another group of five, but Duke's a power five.
Yeah, yeah.
We could have took a better power five job. What's opened up?
Syracuse. I don't think that's the right one.
I think Hughes made a hell of a hire though.
Oh, they did. They did a good job.
Yeah, I think they made a hell of a hire.
Yeah, they did a good job for sure. Didn't
So
they
what's
get King Joseph Edwards? Did they end up getting him at
they got
Syracuse?
him, and they got the quarterback from Ohio State.
Oh, really? A McCord?
Yeah, McCord.
That's
Yeah, they
good.
got McCord. That's good for them. But Miss Maurice says, "Do you hold coaches liable when they don't have their own players?" I know where he's going with this question, but go ahead and answer that.
Do I
I,
hold coaches what?
do you hold coaches liable when they don't have their own players the first few years?
Okay, so I hold them accountable for coaching them, right? So what you get is you get a year to show people who you are as a coach and what you want the program to look like. We all agree on that, right, Adrian? And
Mhm.
then in year two, you should be seeing some type of movement in the right direction. Here's the
Mhm.
problem. Here's the problem. And you say it's no setup, but I'm going to refer to the other situation.
I'm pretty sure it was a setup.
I'm just going to say if I walk into a program as a coach
And
and
flip
say,
80% roster.
and I'm bringing Louis, okay, that's the kind of baggage I'm bringing with me. Sounds to me like I don't need to do much. I should be humming already. That's what it sounds like, right? And we know that's not to be true. So at that point, if I brought in all that Louis and it really looked like, I don't know, something I picked up at Ross,
Yeah, you laughing because you know.
yeah, don't do that. You know, don't do that. You feel me?
But to answer your question shortly, yes. In the typical scenario, absolutely. You give that coach 2 to 3. That third year, you should really start to see his own identity. But
Right,
especially in the first 2 years, you get that coach in the first 2 years
right,
to get, to cycle his guys in and cycle the other guys out. Absolutely.
right. Well, at that point, it's just learning how to do business with them. Like, how do you want us to practice? How do you want us to run your
Right.
routes? How you know
Yeah,
what I
that's,
mean?
that's
Like,
true too. That's true too.
how do we show up to the weight? How do we get ready for games?
In
Like
some
that.
cases,
That's
you don't even have to cycle guys out. In some cases, like Jurgen's saying, it's about getting them accustomed to how you want to do things.
yeah, yeah. It's weird, man. It's weird. You know. What's that? What by teams with a post? That's funny.
Unless you're
Uh,
Mario.
I don't give Mario 10 years. Person, I'm telling you, man. I think you have to look at it and say you fixed, which I commend him for. He fixed his specialty, right? We all knew that if you hire Mario, you're supposed to have a great offensive line. You're supposed to have this downhill running game. Okay, those two things are happening. What are we gonna do next, right? I think hiring Shannon. I think hiring Dawson was just very outside of his box to begin with. I'm happy he did it, but is he going to let Dawson really get the thing moving? I mean, we're going to have to see, you know. Um, I commend him on the Beard hire. I think he did a good job in hiring Beard. With the way Jacoby looked to close out the year. Um, I can't believe Kobe Young is going over to Georgia though. At least that's what the Cristobal
Yeah,
is.
saw that. He's going to Georgia.
You know what's weird, bro? It was like it's like you look at the portal and like the two best receivers were from Vanderbilt, or two of the top three receivers were
Yeah,
Vanderbilt transfers. And then the Vanderbilt quarterback goes to LSU. It's like, so how the fuck did Vanderbilt not win 6 games? Like, what are we?
what are we talking about?
What is this even about anymore?
How's Vanderbilt so trash, but they got the best players in the
Yeah,
country?
yeah, bro. No, it make no sense, bro. Don't make no fucking sense.
Boxing Monster's gonna stay on your head about your boy.
Boy, man, he can do whatever he wants. I'm happy to see you alive and well, bro. You've been ducking
That's
me,
true
bro.
too. That's true.
Years, bro.
He don't come around here too much, or if he do, he
Yeah.
just listen. He don't comment too much anymore.
Hey, remember, boy. Hey, you Otis. You feel me? You
Yeah,
Otis.
you bring him out. You bringing him out.
I bring him out. You know what I'm saying? I
I
bring
think
him out.
you like this move, don't you? If it were to happen,
Yeah, because I've always liked the idea of a true dual threat quarterback because it simplifies what you do football wise, right? Like you can now get in the red zone and say, "Hey, I don't care what you do. I have 10 blockers and he's going to run the ball." You know what I mean? Like that just makes life simple for you. So I'd be cool with K.
you muted yourself. Something happened. We
Uh,
lost you. Now I hear you.
I got it. Yeah, my bad. But it's not like KJ Jefferson was doing his work in the Mountain West Conference. Like it wasn't Arkansas ranked pretty high like 2 years ago? That first year in the
It
Browns,
might have been. I don't remember.
you
KJ's
know,
tight end playing quarterback.
which is DF. That's cool for college. What you mean? That's what DJU be doing. What you talk? What you talk about, man? Like let that ride. You
In
know.
a lot of ways, that's what I'm saying about DJ. Like if we get DJU, like it's gonna be kind of similar. Like you're gonna run. He's a what 6'5", 250 pound guy. You're gonna run him,
hmm hmm
RPO him, and but he's got a big arm and he can take some shots. So
That's all
that's
you
what you.
need. I mean, that's what you got to do. College football is about scoring points, but it's also about controlling things, and them big MFers can control a lot. You know.
Last time y'all had a he's saying we now, but last time y'all had a dual threat. You talking about the Eric King?
Think so, man. Yeah. No, DF. That's yeah. Okay. Throw that bubble screen in the car, get you 7 yards, and move on. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about, man?
DJU
DJU, man.
was getting Ben. He last. I don't know what that means.
He was saying he got
Uh,
benched. He said he got benched for Aiden Childs, which is halfway true.
yeah,
Half.
he. I mean, that guy. That guy went in. He went to Michigan State, right?
He
Child. So he
followed
went
the
and
coach.
followed his coach. So I mean, that kind of
Mhm.
that kind of is what it is. So
ML, let me the Mario Kill TVD comment. This is all I'm gonna say. This is all I'm gonna say. I have never seen a quarterback not pressured, right? Adrian, we was talking about this as was happening during the season. This wasn't TVD fighting for his life. TVD was sitting there looking at the safety on multiple occasions, just like, you know what, hey buddy, you got this. You know what I'm saying? He
mhm.
couldn't get himself off the deep ball. He couldn't layer anything over to the second level. I think the thing that kills TVD in retrospect is not having tempo to help him out, right?
He chose Wisconsin to go to, right?
Uh huh. Because
Oh
they're gonna
no.
run tempo. That's the same dude that coached UNC 2 years ago. I forget the coach's name, man. Um, but he's a run and shoot guy that runs tempo, and TVD likes that. TVD really can't read layers of defenses, bro. I mean, that's very apparent. You know, tribal war hasn't affected my confidence at all, to be honest with you. Honestly, when the kneel or the no kneel happened, I laughed at it. Um, I was in chat with these boys. I was like, "Yep, this is about to happen. We finna lose this."
Y'all know
Because
how
I was,
funny shit ever to me.
bro, I was literally in the chat like, "Is this the longest third quarter? Like, it was like the longest second half of football I've ever experienced in my life." And I was like, "Yeah, we finna lose this." Before the kneel down, I was like, "We finna lose this game." And Longo, there you go. Longo's the answer. There you go. There you go. TVD didn't have a concussion; he had a bad leg, which appreciate you playing under pain, but no reason for you to throw them picks, man. You know. Heisman. I don't know if it was a Heisman talk, Maurice. I think it was the more of the oh, this is looking like a first rounder, and oh, he looks so good at the Manning Passing Academy. I think that's what screwed him over big time. He thought he was something that he hadn't earned yet. Kind of like Joe Milton. Joe Milton lost a lot of money this year too, a whole lot of money, a
Hmm.
whole lot of money. People was talking about Joe Milton like he was about to be a top 10 pick, my boy. You know. Mm-mm.
Y'all keep your questions, especially Miami fans, but anybody, y'all keep them joints coming.
Yeah, man. I only got a few more left in me, bro. I'm throat's killing me.
You getting sick?
My baby just had RSV, bro. So whatever she got, you know,
Mm.
yeah,
Man, there's been a bug going around. I was sick a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
y'all got to.
Everybody in Texas.
Let's get some better questions, but I'll throw it up there. So, do you believe Mario's a competent game day coach?
Yeah, because listen,
He's not gonna say no, guys. Come on.
what do you what is the context of the question, right? I never walked into this expecting Mario Cristobal to walk in there. I don't know. Let's say we're down 10 at half because the defense is playing poorly. He was never the guy that's going to walk in there and say, "Hey, coordinator, this is what you're supposed to do to fix it." He's an O line coach, right? Same thing with offense. Like the only thing he could do is walk in there and say, "Hey, we're playing poorly up front. This is what needs to be done to fix it." Right? So no, I don't expect Mario to scheme. Like Adrian, I don't know about you. I don't understand where this expectation comes from that every single coach has to be a schemer. Some
Mm-hmm.
people run programs, some people don't. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He clearly has been a program runner the entire time. Right? Is he going to be the best X's and O guy in the country? No. He better hire some pretty damn good ones. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do I think he's competent on game day? Sure. Do I think he should have like told Dawson or going into next year, "Hey Dawson, I don't give a fuck what you think. If I want to kneel, I'm gonna kneel." Yes, he should do that next time, right? He should do that next time. I don't give a fuck what Dawson thought he was doing. Shannon, kneel or you're fired. That needs to be the conversation. All right. But I mean that's what he does. I don't know if we're trying to oversell the man. You know what I mean?
So I want to answer this one because I guess Colorado is trending for DJ Lundy. Lundy's a good run. Lundy is if Lundy played in '99, he might be a first rounder. If he
Hmm.
played in the early 2000s, late '90s, he'd probably be your guy. He's that type of linebacker.
Like Quarterman.
Yeah, but he's not silent. He's not a guy he can't cover at all. So he's not going to give you that. He's not going to give you any coverage. Run stuffer, pretty natural instincts at that. So that should. If you have other linebackers around him, you can mask what he's not good at. FSU was able to do that because we had Kalen DeLoach and some other guys that could mask what Lundy wasn't good at. If you have that, Colorado can use him effectively. If you're asking him to come in there and be like Devin White, yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Um, the good thing is at Colorado, you have no linebackers. So he's going to come in there and play real quick, especially on rundowns, and he's probably going to make an impact. So that's good for him. Super, super good for him.
What holes have y'all lost? Well, okay, so let's see. Y'all lose Cam Kitchens. Y'all lose. So that's a solid question for
Hmm.
Miami fans. You are losing some major secondary pieces. You're losing Leonard Taylor up front. What else? Jafari Harvey. He was a starter for y'all, right?
Uh, yeah.
He start opposite of Bain, right? So
I'm very shaky on that. I mean, kind of, sort of, yeah. You know what I mean? Um, Look, obviously, we took the safety out the portal from what's it called, um, from Vanderbilt. My understanding, there's supposed to be another two or three DBs on the way. All of
Okay.
them safeties. Um, we'll see.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're about if you're looking, if you're saying you're a program with talented players, right? If you're going to say that about your program, this is typical attrition and the type of attrition that you want, right? I have two safeties that are going to the NFL. I got a D tackle that's going to the NFL. I lost some depth at DN. I just got to hope those other guys stay healthy. Um, I like the portal pickup we just got from Middle Tennessee, ironically from Middle Tennessee. I like that D tackle pickup, single gap penetrator type. I like the D tackle class. Um, I think Gidry is like a blessing from God, to be honest with you. Um, he's done a great job with the defense. So I
I
don't
think he's at a better
expect.
hire than your offensive coordinator, but
I, I
I think you're old. I think y'all need a quarterback, man.
I think I think I would hope that if we get a Ward, right, or a Jefferson, the offense can look like what Dawson is capable of making it look like, right? Um, I would even say though, to an extent, Adrian, when Emery was playing, even though he was missing a lot, um, the offense was a lot more wide open than it felt. You get what I'm saying? Like there was abilities for quarterbacks to take shots and things like that. Seems like Tyler just settled a lot on seven. You know, he settled a lot on seven instead of really taking a look at what was there available to him. You know, but I like Gidry a lot. I think the defense is gonna be fine.
Hope, what do you think about all these damn fans of these ACC schools? That's the nature of football today.
Hmm.
No real conversations, just a bunch of trolls.
Grill, I'm sorry, but Grill Master, I don't know what it is. Vanderbilt has the best roster in college football that nobody knows about. Like,
You couldn't win any games.
nah, but hey, no, they got him. Georgia took a receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
imagine
funny.
it's crazy, right?
That's
Shout out
funny
to
that Boxing Monster. It's funny that Boxing Monster says that about you, but then he criticizes me because I guess I'm too critical about my coaches,
hmm
which I'm really not. But you never criticize, and I guess I overly criticize.
I take things for what they are, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. I'll tell you this: if I was to watch a Florida State game and that offense looked nothing like, hold on one second, I can see which kid that is.
They should be in the bed sleep.
Man, you know how it is. Um, but if
See,
I,
see, I'm just a hater.
no, but it's like if I was to
Get your
look at Norvell's offense and it looked nothing like it did at Memphis, I would be critical of him. Like in that case, right? But I don't think there's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes on actual coaching and plays and schemes and stuff, we as fans think we know too much. You get what I'm saying?
That's true
Like,
too. I agree with that.
like
We a lot of times we assume that we
yeah,
know what was called, and a lot of times, obviously we don't. So I agree.
nah. So we can't sit here and be like, oh man, like there's some calls though where we're like, where we're watching the TCU game and we're like, hey dickhead, why are you running a rail to the boundary with Travis Hunter there?
Right.
You're right, like we're in the red zone. They've been playing zone the whole game. You think Travis was gonna play man now? Should have ran the football. You had to go 8 yards of carry. Like things like that are stupid. You can talk about, you know what I mean, but
But see,
in terms of like,
what he's talking about is like, because I don't really question. I don't say I don't question, but most of the time I defend Mike's play calling. Right. What Boxing Monster's talking about is um, that damn defensive line coach. And I'm gonna say this: go check your roster right now. You tell me how that defensive tackle room looks right now, and y'all come back to me and tell me that I'm not valid in my criticisms over the last 3-4 years. But we're not gonna have that conversation right now. It ain't me being a hater. It's me telling you what the truth is. It's been telling you what the truth is. We're gonna have to hit the transfer portal hard in that interior D line.
Yeah.
Hard. What kind of product will FSU put out on the Orange Bowl? Well, none of the best players are playing. So come on. No one's expecting.
Hey,
Come on.
you're gonna get a
Like, let's
bag
be
for
honest.
it.
Yeah, they're gonna get paid.
You're gonna get a bag for it.
No, Keon's not. No Keon. No Trey Benson. No Jared Verse. Like no Johnny Wilson. No Jaheim Bell. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
y'all,
you're
y'all
gonna get a
know
bag. You're gonna get a bag, and hey, we'll see y'all next year. That's what that game's supposed to be like, you know. And hopefully the young boys get some experience.
and the crazy thing about it is, I don't know how anybody can be critical of that. You can't tell a team that went undefeated to give it their all in the Orange Bowl. Hell no. If I'm Mike Norvell, it's his obligation to let those guys that have legit NFL stock.
Yeah,
You just watch your quarterback get his ankle turned 360 degrees. Like, hell no.
yeah.
Hell no. You sit out.
I agree, man. Well, Alo, man, I got the little sick one going crazy, bro. I gotta hop out of here. All right.
Hey, I appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man. DF, I didn't mean to cut you off, but she sounded like she dying. DF, good seeing you, buddy. Hopefully, talk to you soon. Maurice, good meeting you. Adrian, we'll do this again very soon, brother. All right.
Yes, sir.
I let y'all, man.
All right, bro. But yeah, man. I mean, that game is what it is at this point, y'all. I'm gonna watch it. I don't have any expectations of it. I think FSU is gonna play sneakily better than what people think, though. Those young kids are gonna those young athletes. They're gonna come in there, and I think they're gonna try to have something to prove. Like, I'm excited to watch the young O line. Like, we're gonna get a chance to see the Armellas and the Earlys, like we've been wanting to see. Hakeem Williams should probably get a bunch of snaps. No, absolutely. Like, I'm excited to see the young guys, but there's no expectations of that game, and I get it. But the narratives are dead at this point. Everybody knows Herb Street's a shill. Everybody knows that everything you're going to see in ESPN around that time. Look, Florida State was always damned if they did, damned if they didn't. FSU wins that game. They're going to point to Georgia's opt-outs. Because Brock Bowers, no official announcement has been made. You think Brock Bowers is going to probably risk and play in that game? Like, Georgia's going to have their own opt-outs. Let FSU sneak around and win that game. They're going to talk about what Georgia, how their season was a disappointment, and how those kids weren't up for that game because they thought they were the best team after winning 29 straight games or whatever the crazy number was. Georgia has a cop-out. When FSU loses, they're going to say, we were right, even though they're not even going to address the fact that all of FSU's best players are sitting out. Bro, the game means nothing. I said that. Go check the video when they first snubbed us. I said all the players should opt out of that game. All the players with any legit draft stock should opt out of that game. Jerry Jones is going to play in that game because Jerry Jones still needs to put more tape out. Jerry Jones is probably struggling on being an undrafted free agent or not. But the guys with legit first round, second grades, third round grade, they're not playing. And they shouldn't play. I wouldn't play. And Mike Norvell shouldn't allow them to play. I hate when people act dumb when they know it. Because, again, we live in a day and age where we can't have legit conversations. And so everything's a troll. And I get it. Trolling's fun. Trolling's funny. It can be cool sometimes. But sometimes it's also cool to sit down and talk ball. But we don't do that no more. What's up, Kusami? Right, at the moment. I don't think that. I mean, we'll see. I think they'll have a couple guys opt out. I don't expect all of them to play, but we'll see. Give me a little Tyler. Shout out to Kusami with this $2 donation. Appreciate you.
Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing shit that they did in the studio.
You see nothing happen. You know, I was using her as an example. You see, because
I heard something to that degree. It'd be interesting to see if FSU wins. And I'm gonna just tell you, I haven't put this out there yet, but I'll give y'all my prediction right now. I think it's gonna be Bama and Texas in the national championship game. I think the rematch of Bama and Texas for the national championship game. And it's hard to beat Saban twice. I'll just say that. I'm not picking a winner yet. I want to see if it's first Texas and Bama yet. But I think it's going to be Bama and Texas in the Natty as in a rematch. And I'll say this right now. I think it's hard to beat Saban twice. And if that's the case, whether it's Bama or Texas, that's the national champion. You got a one-loss team. And let's say in some instance that Florida State does go undefeated and beat Georgia. I mean, Florida State would have a legit. They got a legit, case in my opinion. That's just me though. Ball got taken out of conversation the moment they decided on business. It was a better to devalue 13-0 blue blood program and not being qualified. Everybody bringing a DT except y'all go ahead and talk about Odell, bro. I done said my piece on Odell. Y'all notice I don't talk about it no more. I'm sick of beating that horse. I'm sick of talking to that wall. I'm sick of doing all that. I done talked to y'all for 3 years about Odell Haggins and got a bunch of pushback. And now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. And it's too late. Because what you're seeing now is what I've been talking about. That defensive tackle room right now, there's no depth. And you better, they just passed a new rule with the transfer portal now you can have multiple transfers. It's ironic, right? But that opens up that Joshua Farmer, Daryl Jackson stuff that I was talking about before. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. I don't trust that Joshua Farmer situation. I've said that from the jump. So brace yourself on all of that. There's no depth because you don't recruit it. Now, Odell can be the GOAT, sure. The GOATs. Ali was the GOAT. By the end of his career, Ali was a shell of himself. I think Roy Jones is the best boxer in my lifetime. So I'll put him in GOAT status. By the end of his career, shell of himself. So he can be the GOAT all he wants. Even GOATs fall. I knew that's what you tuned in for. But I appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you, Mr. Maurice. Right, only Odell can coach up. I sense the sarcasm. Only Odell can coach. He's the only coach that can do that. I don't disagree, but you still got. Not everybody does. Julian Armellis has been standing strong. You feel me? Yes, guys do transfer, but not everybody. Not everybody. Daniel Lyons is still here. There's guys who committed to this program who are still here. Yes, guys leave, absolutely, but you still got to recruit. You still got to. You still got to recruit. Daniel Lyons is a recruit, not a transfer. I'm bringing him in because he's like one of the Joshua Farmer's a recruit, not a transfer, right? You got to bring those guys in and you got to develop them. And I'm just strictly speaking of D-line, but that's across the board. There are guys who are recruited who are still here and going to be integral parts of your team. So you got to have a healthy balance of both. I've always said that from the jump. I've always said that. I've never said one over the other. I've never said the transfer portal was better than high school and vice versa. I've always said you have to have a healthy balance. I just pushed back on the notion that the portal was irrelevant. I pushed back on that you couldn't do it from the portal. I pushed back on the fact that people thought the portal was unsustainable. I always pushed back on that, but I've always said you have to have a healthy balance. And like he said, like Tyler said, we can't keep doing this Odell conversation, y'all. We can't keep doing it. We can't keep doing it. It's apparent. If you don't think it's biting us in the ass now, if they don't sign 3 or 4 guys out of the portal on that D-line, I am sorry. You have 5 guys on the defensive interior right now. Farmer, Jackson, Lyons. Actually, 4. You're hoping Briggs actually gets... Come on, correct me if I'm wrong. Farmer, Jackson, Lyons, Sampson. You're hoping Briggs gets a 7th year. You're hoping Briggs... Let me repeat that. You're hoping Dennis Briggs can somehow have an NFL career in college right now. You're hoping Briggs gets a 7th year, and that gives you 5 interior D linemen. That's on the entire depth chart. Last year, they routinely rotated 5. Fisk, Lovett, Farmer, Malcolm Ray, Dennis Briggs. That was a legit 5-man rotation at a minimum. And don't even count Daniel Lyons got plenty of playing time last year. You can argue a 6-man rotation last year on that defensive interior. We only have 5 on the roster, technically 4. We'll see if Briggs gets picked up. That obviously that's not count, and I don't count the 2 freshmen because I don't expect them to contribute. That's insane. You should be scared. And if you were recruiting them, we wouldn't have this problem. Anyways, let's continue. Pope Rodney Hill he just committed to FAMU. What do you mean? He's staying in Tallahassee. He's definitely staying in Tallahassee. What's up, Irv? Call now or visit OmegaXL.com/try and receive this special offer. When you buy 1 bottle of Omega XL, I can understand why Fisk would play. Fisk needs to have. I don't think Fisk will test extremely. I think Fisk could test well in some like the strength stuff, like his cone drills, some of the more athletic things. I don't think Fisk could test fairly well. Could be wrong. I can see Fisk trying to get as much tape out there as possible. For only $39.95. Order it. It's good for you. Only Farmer knows what his issue is. Yeah, staying in Tally. Absolutely. We've done a good job building the roster in general. It'd be crazy if we get some good D linemen in the portal. Crazy? No, it should be expectation at this point. Again, FSU needs at least 3 interior linemen out of the portal. At least. Who would they? Hakeem, Portier, obviously. Kentron, I think Hakeem Williams, Dustin Hill. We're going to get to see the young guys have a chance. And I'm excited to see what the young guys do. My man said, if FSU can get out of granted rights, and I know Mike can fire Odell. Hey, man. Same thing. I'll say this. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Those 3, Kentron Portier, Ja'Kai Douglas, obviously. I expect what I meant to say is I just don't know, bro. I don't trust Farmer, bro. I expect this Farmer thing to be an issue up until either he transfer or like the end of August or whenever that portal window closes, because it's going to close, but it's going to open back up in the spring. The one thing working in Farmer's favor right now is FSU can't afford to lose him. When you don't recruit behind him, you can't afford to lose him. FSU has to break the bank off. I would love to play hardball with Farmer and say, nope, you negotiated your quote-unquote raise for last year. We're not having this discussion again this year. The problem is they can't afford it. You let Farmer walk. We just said 4. Farmer, Daryl Jackson, Daniel Lyons, Sampson. Again, can't count Briggs quite yet. We don't know if he's eligible yet. We don't know if he's going to be granted that extra year. You let Farmer walk if you want to. And with the new rule being said that you can transfer, Daryl Jackson's going to follow his buddy. You'll have to, man, please. FSU has to keep Farmer at this point. 44 is not going anywhere just because they can't afford to let him walk, which means he's going to be able to demand almost whatever in terms of NIL money. It doesn't matter who bro. And I'm not strictly directing this at you, but I hate this question, bro. Nobody knew who Tony Tokars was. There are a million coaches out there. You interview, you vet the right one, and you hire them. Just because we don't have a name of who replaces Odell doesn't mean it doesn't have to be some big brand name coach who half the time don't pan out. Ask Miami about the Josh Gaddis and all this other stuff. Sometimes the big name coach don't pan out. Hire the right guy. And you might not know who that is because nobody knew who Alex Atkins was before he got here. There's guys out there, man. There's guys out there that's coaching their asses off. The transfer rule, if you don't know, has changed. It was a one-and-done rule. It's now you can transfer multiple times without any consequence. That rule has changed. It's not true, champs. That rule has just changed. And that made a big uproar because Jackson just had to miss a whole entire season of his career. That rule has just changed. You can now transfer multiple times without consequence. Jackson can indeed transfer. Who's he got to develop, bro? Okay, keep telling me he's developed. You going to develop 4 players to do what? But I already know you're MO boxing monster, so I'm not falling for it. Anyway. Now, Atkins is about to be on the hot seat. The only reason Atkins is on the hot seat, and I don't believe he's on the hot seat, but the only reason Atkins is on the hot seat is because I think a lot of people like this next upcoming year, it's time to see the development part. Recruiting-wise, Atkins is doing what he's been doing since he's been here. Atkins recruited 2 4-stars this year and 2 project guys. That's about the same MO he's done since he's been here. Even go back to his big recruiting year. I mean, there's only Jalen Early and Armella are the 2 big 4-stars in that class. Quayshawn Sapp is a borderline 4 and 3-star, and everybody else is a project guy. So Atkins is doing what he's doing routinely. You go back last year. Lucas Simmons is the big fish. Who's Otto is the project guy. Recruiting-wise, he's done what he's been doing. I think, I got Martin on in the background. I'm turning it down. What people want to see from Atkins now is they want to see some of these guys get on the field. We watched Byers get abused all year and never even get replaced, which is a shame. So what we want to see from Atkins, when I think the people say he's on the hot seat, there's no reason why Armella shouldn't be on the field next year. There's no reason why Jalen Early shouldn't be on the field next year. There's no reason why the The guys we recruited, we're not developing, allegedly. Next year is going to be Kiefer Atkins. He has to get his guys on the field. He has to get his guys on the field, not Byers and these other guys. He's got to get his guys on the field. That's why Atkins is on hot seat. I think we'll be fine. The rules in place, man. The courts have already suspended the previous rule. The rules in place. You can transfer. We just had a couple players hit the portal once that rule came down. The rule is in place, Champs 99. I'm sorry. I don't know where you're getting your information from. Oh, we're already in the conference transfer portal, baby. We gave our announcement today. No, don't give it up. I would never want to give up that game. That game has too many implications on the recruiting and stuff. Absolutely not. Keep that game. Oh, Perry said, if we end up going to Big Ten and possibly had to give up one of the rivalries, which one would you give up? Ooh, no, I didn't see that. That's a tough question for me. I think both games are extremely valuable. But if I had to pick, you know what? I'm going to say this. If I had to pick, I'd give up Miami. In this current climate, I give up the Miami game if I had to pick. And the Miami fans are going to run away with that. But the reason why is I feel like FSU's recruiting footprint is more geared towards the Central Florida, Georgia, South Georgia area. Though they did a very good job in South Florida this year. I don't know. It's tough. I'm talking myself out of that and saying give up Florida, but that's tough. That's tough. I don't want to give up either. I guess I'd pick Miami. I think Florida State, end of the year is just too rich in tradition for me. Jeff with the $20, man. What's up, Jeff? He goes, with Odell, would you give him an option to keep working with the staff, maybe off-field staff or something without pushing him up? I mean, absolutely. You got to take into consideration all of those things. Like, do you give him a spot somewhere? I mean, I'm not against any of that. What I'm saying is you have to get somebody in play to recruit that position group better. This isn't a 1-year thing. This isn't a 2-year thing. This isn't a 3-year thing with Odell. I've been saying this since I started this channel, which is crazy. How long have I've only had this channel for about 4 years. So I've been saying that for 4 years, but the Odell problem has been a problem. But no, I'm not saying like you fire him and abandon him. Like if you want to keep him around to do other things, yeah. But that position group just needs a breath of fresh air. We appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah.
What's more likely? FSU wins the ACX. Well, we didn't win. I don't know what the ACX is. But the X key is next to C, so I can see how you made that mistake. It's gonna. You know what? I'll answer this way, New King. To be honest with you, I'll be 100% transparent with you here. FSU gets their quarterback lined up depending on who our quarterback. Well, actually, between our two quarterback options, I still don't think FSU will lose any more than 3 games. The schedule's just not built to lose 3 games. It's more likely for FSU to win the ACC again than lose 3 games. Yeah, I hear you, but if you're done with Farmer, again, that room is even more depleted. What kind of question is this? New King, did you just think of the ridiculous questions to ask? Somebody help me out here. Norvell has been there for 4 seasons. If he was to get fired, on what premise after being on a 19-game winning streak? I don't even know why I just responded to that. I should have ignored that comment. I think everybody's on the same page, man. We'd give up the Miami rivalry. Well, nobody talks about it because Atkins is the offensive coordinator by title, but I think everybody understands that Norvell calls the offense. So, in theory, you feel me? Like it's not that big a deal. If you're hiring an O-line coach, my question becomes for what? Appreciate you, Terrell.
I'm with the Seminoles. I've been getting to this paper, focus on my goals. Trying to run this money up and pull up in the road. All these talking gangster, that shit getting old.
Can't be scared of a team that we've beat 3 straight years. And if you check the win-loss record in the last decade, yeah. So, again, then if you go back 20 years, so we can keep doing that. Can't be scared of a team that you beat more regularly than you lose to. Not Tyler. I didn't even know how to answer that question. It's a great point too, Jen. You think anybody from that D-line room is getting drafted since he develops them so well? I think they play well as a unit. When's the last defensive tackle he's got drafted? Ooh, there's a question for y'all. Everybody that says no, Odell is X, Y, and Z. Who's the last defensive tackle to get drafted at Florida State? I think 8-4 would be you'd have to show me 4 losses on the schedule. Keep Miami as an easy win with Mario as head coach. So you want to get rid of the Florida game? Like if Billy Napier's an amazing coach himself? Hey, Billy Napier's the coach. That's another easy win. Well, Dennis, most of us aren't 60 years old like you are. So not all of us have the privilege of watching Miami in 81, 82, 83, 84. And you were already a 30-year-old man at that point. So sorry, Dennis. When Miami was really good, we were either some of us not even born yet or just now taking our first breaths. But if you want to talk about recent history, yeah. Let me say Corey Simon was the last guy we had drafted. Marv went undrafted. Let me say that again. Let that sink in. Marvin Wilson went undrafted. Undrafted. Like Jeff said, FSU and UF have to play by law.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I don't see 4 losses. You don't see 4 losses. 4 losses is a grave disappointment. That's fine. I will be a young buck, my man, because I was not born in 79. You damn right I'm a young buck. Young, lively, still doing, still able to get out of bed without my back cracking. I'm good. I'm good, baby. Young buck is a compliment. I don't care what Marv had. He didn't get drafted. And I don't recall Marv blowing out 2 knees in his time here, but whatever. I'm not going to dispute any injury thing because I don't know. What I do know is Marv didn't get drafted. And he wasn't injured during the draft. That's what I do know. What Eddie Goldman, Derek Nandi's probably the last one. I honestly didn't look it up. But I think Derek Nandi was the last one. Ten and 2 at worst. See, told you, man. Y'all, Dennis old. Dennis was watching black and white TV. Y'all think I'm playing? Dennis was 30 in 81, 82, 83. Y'all think I was playing, man? Y'all think I'm playing? Bro, that man. Champs made that up, bro. I don't recall him blowing out 2 knees either. He made that up. And if that happened in the NFL. Marvin Wilson did not blow out no 2. If they did a great job keeping that a secret. They did a great job keeping that a secret. Regardless, again, whether he blew out 2 knees, 2 ankles, his cankles, don't matter. He ain't get drafted. I actually come from a time before social media even exists. But Boxing Monster, no, I'm not as old as all of you. You and Dennis are senior citizens. I pray you get to that age as well, Dennis. I pray you get to that age as well. You were 6 and 81. My point, bro, you was born in the 70s. So, yes, you've seen all of Miami national championships, Dennis. I actually applaud you for that because you're one of the few Miami fans that can actually say that. Because 9 out of 10 of these Miami fans, they can't even say they've seen all of Miami's national championships in their lifetime. So I applaud that. I absolutely applaud that. DeMarcus Walker was a DN. They did move him inside, but he was not a traditional defensive tackle. Yeah, you were born in 2000, bro. You weren't even thought of in the 80s. Let alone the 70s when Dennis was let alone the 70s. He was hurt his last year here. I don't remember exactly what it was. He played a majority of the season, though. Polk, humble yourself. You've been cocky lately. I'm the same guy I'm in every day, every week. So if you feel that I'm cocky, You don't have to watch me. That's the beautiful thing about social media. If you don't like the stuff I tweet, you don't have to follow me. You can block me. If you don't like what I come on my computer and my camera and say, you can leave. Me being cocky, I don't feel like I'm cocky. Does anybody else think I'm cocky? That's crazy. But you're entitled to your opinion, just like I'm entitled to tell you you don't have to watch if you feel that way. We'll see, Grill Master. I have no idea, but we'll see. Guys like Dennis, I have respect. I agree. Guys like Dennis, I know he on here trolling and all of that and trying to be funny, but I agree. Guys like Dennis, I respect because at least they were alive to see their team be good. I can't argue with a 20-year-old Miami fan. You've never seen any. You've only ever seen one 10-win season if you're a 20-year-old Miami fan. Hell, if you're a 30-year-old Miami fan, what were you, 5 when Miami was good? I can't argue with those guys. I'm the pretty Ricky. I don't even know what that means, Boxing Monster. I feel like that's a pause moment. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable when you call me the pretty Ricky of YouTube media. I don't know, man. I feel a little uncomfortable when you say that. Pause. I don't have anything against people and their lifestyle choices, but pause. Dennis, bro, Dennis Marshall. Okay. LOL, Polk been the same all year. Bro, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing me. I really don't feel like I treat anybody any type of way. Cocky, I don't think I'm cocky, man. I come in here and be, I don't know. Appreciate the support, Momo. Appreciate the support, Terrell. Odell and Shannon need to collect Social Security. Appreciate the support, Brandon. Bro, who am I hating on? My favorite, first of all, I don't really have favorite coaches. I've said this a million times. I root for the Seminoles. I don't root for coaches. And my favorite players, I never turn on. If they play trash, I just tell they play trash. Y'all remember Warren Thompson? I was in love with Warren Thompson. He played trash. I got to call him trash. Me too. Been alive for every last one of them. Though the first one, you know, I wasn't exactly an adolescent in the first championship, but everyone after that. You got to think all of Miami fans most likely hadn't seen. Bro, I can't argue with most of them, like I said. The crazy thing about Miami fans, even if they're my age, they've only ever seen one national championship. And for about 20 years, mediocrity is, mediocre as mediocre can be. So even Miami fans of my age can't brag about much. You're right, Irv. I fall for him. No, you're right. But I know I'm falling for him, but I just got to address him sometimes. Sometimes I like addressing him. Sometimes I like being a little confrontational sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot of comments that I let fly in the chat. I won't address them. But sometimes it's fun to just say something back. But you're right, Irv. You're absolutely right. Do you think Odell and the D-line coach next year? Do you think Odell will be the D-line coach next year? I do. Until I see it, I don't. Odell is like a death in taxes at this point, baby. That's like the sun rising and the sun falling. I expect to wake up and Odell's going to be there. So until he's not, again, Tyler, that's why I don't talk about it anymore. Have you not noticed? Anytime we get on the Odell conversation, I never initiate it. I let someone in the chat talk about it. Tyler, if you haven't noticed. I don't talk about it anymore for a reason. Oh my God. Yes, Boxing Monster. I'm not as old as you. Okay. I was on Similac for Charlie Ward's Natty, and you was drinking a 40 damn near on Social Security at that time. We on two different levels. I agree, bro. I agree. Appreciate that, Jay. Well, man, we done did 3 hours with Jerg. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, y'all, man. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, still talking about you can't ignore but I let y'all bring it up. I don't talk about Odell unless someone brings it up. But man, let me get up out of here. We talked a little bit about it all. We talked about Deion. Obviously, we talked about the ACC thing. That's going to be something to continue to watch with ACC. It's not going to be a quick process. I also don't think that's going to be like a drawn out process. The ACC is going to be FSU's put the wheels in motion there. So we talked about. I wish we could talk about some transfer portal stuff, but Florida State has been unfortunate. Something's off. I don't know what it is, y'all, and I hope maybe I'm overreacting. And I'll close out with this. I'll close out with this take because I didn't really speak on it when Jerg was on. I feel like something's off with the ACC. Not ACC. I feel like something's off with the transfer portal recruiting right now. I don't know what that is, but we're not attacking it like I thought we would or how we should. Like, we still don't have a quarterback announced. Like, let me say this. I'm going to say this. If Cam Ward is holding up this entire process, and y'all know I'm a Cam Ward fan. I want Cam Ward at Florida State. But if Cam Ward is holding up the process this long, at what point do you not just announce your quarterback so you can move on? So you can get the ball rolling everywhere else. DJU is still a big enough name, okay? From a talent perspective, I don't think he's Cam Ward. But DJU, everybody knows he was the former 5-star. He had Pepsi commercials. Like, DJU is still a big enough name that, okay, you get DJU in the fold, and now let's start getting some guys. And I feel like I don't know what the deal is. Again, I could be wrong here, and there could be some master plan. And we could wake up tomorrow and they start killing the portal, or they could be waiting till after Christmas and the portal just starts snapping. So I'll come on here and say I spoke too soon on that. But as of right now, man, I'm not feeling the portal stuff right now. I don't know. Something feels off to me there. The only portal acquisition so far you have was a layup, and that was like Marvin Jones Jr. And if we would have missed Marvin Jones Jr., holy cow, right? So, and I agree. Like, at this point, let's just announce DJ if he's the quarterback. If Cam's drawing this process out this long, man, just go with the guy that wants to be here. You can implement him in offense the correct way. So that's my last take for the night. As always, man, y'all hit the like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. And I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Jay tripping. But, man, y'all hit the like button, man. Happy holidays again. Have a great holiday weekend. Christmas coming up. You probably won't get another video out of me until after Christmas. So this probably going to be the last video before last video before Christmas, and then we'll pick it up after Christmas, man. But again, y'all have a great rest of y'all's night. Great holiday weekend coming up. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, and we are out here. Go Noles.